How's it, everybody? And a warm welcome to the Web3 Show, our weekly live stream, which brings you all the latest NFT, crypto, and Web3 news. I'm your host, Philip Kalinko, joined by my friend Kate Bergman. And tonight we're going to be talking about everything Web3, RTKFT, Animus Teaser, and Memeland, and their trade FUD, Ether, Only One Force, Bored Ape Yacht Club, Coca-Cola, Christian Dior, and much, much more. A reminder that nothing we say is financial advice. We are not financial advisors. And if you haven't already noticed, the Web3 space is incredibly risky. So always do your own research. If you aren't already, please subscribe to both Cade and my YouTube. And if you want the latest alpha, please follow both of us, which you can do on Twitter. With all that said, grab your popcorn and let's get straight into it.
Let's get it.
Mr. Bergman, what's happening? Good, man. The biggest news of the week, I'm going to jump straight into it. I've got this gentleman that I know, a really good guy, someone that despite being almost double his age, I look up to and admire. Kate, it was your birthday. I thought of you the whole day. I think, from 6 in the morning when I got to work in my time, I messaged you and you were around, and then I saw messages all day. I think it was the day before your time, but a happy birthday, my brother. What did you do? How was it?
Dude, it went in a different direction than I thought. I went on this kick of like doing hard work and embracing the hustle and the work and all this stuff. And on my birthday, I was like, all right, I'm going to do a quick workout. And so I did like burpees, which it was like a joke because I used to do that at Orange Theory when I was working out really hard a few years ago. And I did like the 25 burpees, and then I like got kind of motivated. So I went out for a run. It was just going to be a short one. And I ended up taking a direction I don't normally go. Next thing I know, I'm like 4 miles in, and I was like, all right, well, I might as well go 6. I got to 6, and I was like, well, I'm actually kind of close to University of Washington. And University of Washington is one of the most beautiful colleges in the entire country. It is literally the most perfect college campus ever. If you've ever been to University of Washington, you know what I'm talking about. They filmed 21 and Over, one of the best comedy movies ever, on campus there. So if you walk around there, it's like being in a movie because the whole movie is shot there and it's one of the funniest movies ever. So I'm running there and I'm like, damn, it's 3 miles away. And I'm like, I'm already all the way over here. I'm never over here. I'm like, I might as well go. So next thing you know, I'm at 8 miles entering the university. I spend like 2 miles running around and I'm like, damn, I'm at 10 miles right now. And I still have to go home. And I'm like, wow, I'm going to have to either run a half marathon here or like get an Uber. And I was like, well, shit, I'm already at 10 miles. I'm going to go for a half marathon. Haven't ran ever more than 6 miles before. And I get all the way home 14 and a half miles later, bro.
Jeez. How long did it take you?
Probably 3 hours. Cause I meandered around a little bit every now and then to walk around and explore. Cause I love doing that, but it took a few hours, bro. I left at probably like 11 and came back at like 1, like literally 2 hours later. Like, I don't even know what happened. I wasn't expecting to leave for that long. And I got back thinking, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just get home. I'm gonna shower real quick. I'm gonna get some things done. And I wasn't sure what to expect. Most of my friends are out of town right now, so I'll see them next week. And man, dude, for the next 6 hours, I just sat there on the couch and I could not get up. I was so like, my body was so tired. I ended up just like watching a movie and just relaxing. So it was actually really nice. I normally don't watch movies. It's hard for me to focus on a movie for that long. Sometimes I just watch like TV shows, but I made myself watch the entire movie. And then it was good. It was really good. It was more intentional based. I feel like my birthday, I don't like celebrating it like that. I like to do more of like introspective work and look back on what I'm trying to set like a powerful intent for. I just believe that like on the day of your birth, you probably, if there's any day that you're going to be extra like spiritually vibrational and shit, it's going to be your birthday. And so like on my birthday, I make sure like in the morning and the night to like set a bit of an intention and a focus. And so I kind of like celebrate my birthday slightly different because most people are like, yo, were you going to turn up? I'm like, no, no, I was never going to turn up.
I'm the same. I also like it low key. Happy birthday from obviously me. I'm sure all our viewers, we wish you a beautiful year, my brother. A beautiful year to a beautiful person.
Thank you. And thank you. I see Artis. I see Crypto Dreaming here. What's up, fam? Crypto Dream dropped a whole video. Did you see that, Philip? He dropped a whole video.
Yeah, I saw that. I was on the verge of tears, honestly. But you know what, Cage? You give what you get in this world, and you are really a true gentleman and a scholar, and you deserve all the good that has come to you and that is going to come to you. But it's so good to see everyone. I see we've also got obviously our friend Crypto Dream. We've got Artishi. We've got Connor. So let's get straight into it. Kate, you ready? Can we get going here?
Also, shout out Kishi in Spaces. Well sorted. Appreciate you being here. Let's get it, bro.
Amazing. Yeah, everyone on Spaces, welcome. Everyone on LinkedIn, welcome. Everyone on Facebook, welcome. Welcome, no matter where you've come to us. We're glad to have you.
That like, hit that retweet.
Yeah, Kate likes to ask for that stuff. All right, let's get into it, guys. It's been an exciting week. Let's talk about the market update, just general understanding of what's going on the market. This is a weekly view of the NASDAQ S&P 500. And you can see here it's been a red week. As you know, Kate, we're almost 40% up on the NASDAQ year to date. So there's obviously going to be pullback like any market. It's not just up only, but it definitely overall has been a consolidation week, a down week. There's more red on this chart than there is green. And yeah, some of the winners that stand out this week, despite that, is Tesla. 5% up. We've got Nvidia still continuing to rise. Those are the guys behind the chips for AI. They up 2%. We've got Facebook up 2% with their launch of their Threads, their social media platform, which you and I can chat about. Yep. We've got Berkshire Hathaway up 0.6. AB Bev, which is Coca-Cola, up 1.5. But other than that, we're mostly down. The biggest down is in the health technology side of things, as well as electronics. NASDAQ was quite down this week. If we jump onto having a look at crypto week to date, this is a weekly view. We can see slightly down on Bitcoin, not too bad, 1% down, sitting just over the 30,000 mark currently. It has been dipping below, above, below, above. This is a very critical level currently for Bitcoin because there is a cup and handle in place at the moment, and everyone is glued to their screens to see whether it's going to stay green, meaning that we should go higher, or are we going to get out of that pattern and go lower? And people are watching and we're not sure. ETH on the week is down 4.4%. We've got Solana looking up really good, sitting over $21. They up on the week, and a couple of others like Matic also up. If we change it to a daily, just to see where we are in the last 24 hours, we can see the same picture, but just smaller percentages. So we've got Bitcoin down 0.5%, Ethereum down just under 1%, Solana, ADA up a bit, Doge up a bit. And another way to look at this is our good friends, the bubbles. This is looking at the day. You can see the big losers and winners. Anything in red, it means it's down. The bigger the red bubble, the more it is down. And anything in green means it's up. The bigger the green, the more it's up. And just to make this the weekly view, gives you a better idea. You can see overall a bit of a down week on crypto if you have to look at it overall. The big winners again, Solana, really looking good. AVAX up 5.5%. GRT, which I'm not sure what that is, but they're up 10%. Aave up 9% over there. So yeah, that's the story, and that concludes your market update.
True. Not bad.
Yeah, man.
Don't have too much to say.
So yeah, interesting. How's the trading going on the crypto side for you?
It's going fine, honestly. I'm still in markup phase territory, so that's pretty much all I'm doing. I just stay learning that and getting better at noticing tops and noticing trends and trying to learn a few specific candle patterns that I can naturally pick out more often, I guess. And so I'm kind of just picking up the reps in there, and I'm not too focused on all the trading, like the specific trades. It's pretty much going to happen like in a week or so. Cool. But honestly, not that much going on. It was a bit hard to predict with crypto, with what was going on. Like it was kind of tough to decide on something.
I think whenever you see crypto Twitter and everyone telling you it's time to buy, it's time to buy, it's time to buy, it's time to buy, you got to be a bit scared. And that's where we got. We were in that euphoric stage, about a week ago. Everyone's saying it's time, it's time, it's time. And I think but you know what I'm looking really forward to is pulling up a Bitcoin chart when we're talking about the market update and you charting it for us and showing us stuff there, because that's going to be really, really cool.
Well, like here's what I have. I mean, let me show you my screen actually. Hold on. I forgot to do that. I did actually have these markings up from the other day. So share screen. Okay. That one. All right, let me know if you see it. Okay,
it's coming.
So I think I did this like, I don't know, a day yesterday maybe, but this is what I noticed on the 4-hour chart. But I did know some consolidation. It's just like the 18th or 20th when we first mooned from that BlackRock ETF. That's what that news was when we first mooned a little bit. And then we pretty much just bounced up and down. And then we did break the structure being that last previous high. So we did peak straight, like slightly over it. And this is what I look for in smart money concepts, which is basically the institutions, the people who are moving the markets are aware that this is the last high. They're aware that a lot of people have orders here and have stop losses set up here, or just like right above it or right around this mark. So they push it slightly above. They get everyone out of their trade. And then they're buying and selling at the same time. So then they push the price back down. And then everyone just gets clobbered except for them. So that's why there's always money in the market, because they're always multiplying their money at the retail's expense. But then we broke through it. Yeah. And so then we were crashed down. And now we're kind of in the middle here. And that's sort of why I was like, okay, well, pretty much anything can happen. And that's why this is a very tentative guess on what's happening. Like this is not something I would take. I don't think it's too risky.
No, this is literally guess game. We've
However,
got to wait for the
I wouldn't
next
get in
signal
unless
for
if we got back to this point would be the point that I get in for this, which is basically this is my buy-in point. This is my stop loss. If it gets above this, I would sell the position so I don't lose too much money. But this would be the profit that I'm looking to gain. This is like my first take profit at this level. But I would only get into this because I think we're bearish-ish. If we get back up to this point, I would say that we start to go down, and I would enter in here. But since we're in here, anything can happen. I could, if I get into the trade here, we could moon this way or this way. It's just too risky. So when you see a trade inside here on the bigger time frames, the goal here is just to say, okay, here's what maybe could happen. If it does end up getting here, then I make my play. If not, then I just sit on my hands and wait.
See, I would wait to break out of that top line before I get in and close above it.
It did right here.
Yeah, but it also has to close above, not just touch out. It's got to close above, and then it's confirmed.
Maybe on the smaller time frame. Hold on, let me zoom in. No, you're right.
It's got to close above. It's got to be. Then it's a confirmed breakout. Then it starts moving.
Yep, you're right.
But yeah, very interesting, my brother. I'm happy to see you looking at it. And you're ready to jump into what's trending.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty, what's trending? This is specifically NFT related. We take a look at the last week's biggest trades. Number one, we had a Bored Ape selling at 200 Ethereum, the one with the eyes popping out and the pizza. Then we had this generative nude art portrait that sold for 175 ETH. Then we have an Azuki Golden Skateboard Shrine that sold for 135 ETH. That can be burnt to get a golden Azuki skateboard, and it's quite similar on a and it's quite similar on a US dollar amount. It's quite similar to what the lowest Azuki sold for, which was 260 something thousand, and this was 250,000. This is the first shrine to be sold. So it's the first one that's actually had a successful sale, because they've always been listed.
So much money for an NFT real life collectible. Is it solid gold?
No, it's gold plated.
Bro.
But at this price, it should be solid gold.
Do you think that's real, or do you think that's a marketing ploy?
I actually think this one it's all guesswork, but I think this one might be real, because why would they choose? It's the first one that's sold. They're not manipulating these. So I don't know. You never know, but I actually think it's a genuine sale. Remember, these sold the lowest that they went for was $260,000 for the physical, and it's a lot more rare than an ape where there's 10,000 of them. No matter how rare the ape is, the skateboards. I think they only made how many of them? Cade, was it 10? It was a small amount. But
buying it right now is interesting because there's not that many people to flex it on. Like, it's just interesting for someone at this point to spend $250,000 on that. I'm like, wow, I could get it when it was the bull run.
No, I agree.
It's flex in front of all these people, but now it's like, bro, only like 1,000 people are going to see it anyway.
Interesting. I mean, there's only 10 of them, but
True.
yeah, I mean, it's a lot of money to burn on anything that is NFT related, but the physical does have value, and even though it's only gold plated, there is value in the gold itself. I don't think it's anywhere near this amount, but there is some value to it. But interesting to see the sale, and as I said, it's the first time that this is sold. Then we're looking at Ringers, which is a very famous art blocks art project, sold for $164,000 for Ringer number 514. We had a crypto pack that sold for $152,000. He looks a bit like one of those S&M crypto punks, I don't know if you
Oh,
know
he
what
looks like the
S&M.
guy who gave me a ticket when I was in high school.
No, it's like when you try to dress up and play like those sort of you dress up as a cop and then you I don't know. To me, it looks S&M a bit like you like whip each other and shit like that. I'm not into that shit. I'm just saying that's what he looks like to me. Fidenza, another art blocks, maybe too much information there, Kate. Fidenza under art blocks, sitting at 140,000 Ethereum. CryptoPunks at number 7, sold for 135. And then we had a Azuki Elementals that sold for 130,000.
Whoa,
If we have a, yeah, it's a really nice Spirit
Jesus.
Azuki. Yeah. I think that one might have been manipulated, to be quite honest, because there has been all that FUD,
Yeah.
or specifically around elementals, but who knows? You never really know at all. So
Yeah,
yeah, Crypto
it's gotta
Dream.
be one of those whales who's like, you know what, fuck it. Let me make sure Azuki's got to keep their positive name going forward. You know, I got a bunch of bags in Azuki. Got to make sure that people
Yeah,
are talking shit, too much shit. I got to make a big sale here. I mean, if they have that much money, I would even like if you take the position of that person, you can almost understand. You're like, yeah, I mean, you love Azuki, and you want to make sure that they have some type of credibility on this big kind of mistake that they did. Like that's not too big of a hole in their pocket,
show how
probably.
loyal, show how loyal they are.
Yeah,
Yeah, it could be internal. Could be a guy who's really mad about the collection. Who knows? Or could just be a guy who's mad. You never
probably
really know, right?
Zagaban.
Yeah, could
To be
be.
honest.
Then if we have a look, this is one day trading on Blur. It says 17 million. You can see now it's starting to look a little bit more realistic, the numbers.
Mm,
Ever since they've changed now the criteria, you're going to see, I think,
yeah.
a lot less farming than there was. Hard to know what that real number is. We'll just call it what it is now, but I still think that there's a lot of farming going on there, but not as much as there was. OpenSea, 5.6 million, so definitely up from the lows of last week, where we were looking at under 4 million on the one day. Looks Rare, 1.2 million, which is strong for them. X2Y2, 1.2 million as well. Immutable X, 750,000. Unisat, which I've never heard of, it says new at Bitcoin Marketplace
Interesting.
sitting at 670,000.
Interesting.
Yeah,
That's a good bit of money right there. $670,000 traded.
yeah. I think with new platforms, there is typically that sort of excitement. I'm sure they launch with some incentive,
Yeah.
almost like what we're seeing at Threads with Facebook. The real test is going to be, when all of that dies down, and
Yeah.
what is the real uptake of it. CryptoPunks alone, 600,000. Magic Eden continues to drop at 400,000. If we add that all together and don't adjust for Blur, you're looking at about 25 million, a little bit under that. And then having a look at our collections now. So these are the also on a 7-day time frame. We do the show weekly, so I like to keep a look at it then, and it also gets rid of any of the noise. Board Ape Yacht Club, most traded. We saw them go as low as 29 Ethereum. They're now at 34 ETH. So that's a nice almost 15 to 20% increase.
Wow.
Mutants, when we were looking last week, Kate, they were close to 5. They're now sitting at 6.7. Azuki sitting at 7.5. They continue to drop. DGods 8.8 have recovered from last week. Azuki Elementals 1.3. Still a lot of FUD there. Captains sitting at 6. We're going to talk a lot about captains. We're actually going to talk about them after this.
Nice.
CryptoPunks is 7th in place as far as trading goes. The elemental beans, so the ones that haven't revealed yet,
Bro, we need to
sitting at
talk
one.
about Azuki's ecosystem too at some point in the
We're
stream because
going
I did
to
not know
today.
it.
We're going to. So the beans, the elemental beans are just the unrevealed elementals. That's all they are. So those are the ones that people
Oh,
minted. Those are the ones that people minted for 2 Ethereum. The floor price on them is 1.7 and they unrevealed.
got
Then
it.
the elementals are the ones that have been revealed already. So
Wow,
obviously people are hoping to get a rare. So
got it.
that's why the floor of the beans is 1.7, but the ones that have been revealed are 1.3 because you're taking a gamble there. You might get a rare.
Mm,
Then Pudgy Penguins sitting at 4 Ethereum, they're up about 10% on the week. Beans themselves continue to be dropping half an ETH. People are realizing they're no longer the second collection, elementals are. Then heavy metals up, they were under half a ETH, they're sitting at 0.7 now. So yeah, a lot of fun around the game, but now some guys starting to trade it. A lot of voting going on, and people trying to get votes.
Yeah.
Kennel Club is sitting at 2.8. Clone X is at 1.8. Doodles at 1.8, and that sums up
Bro,
your
seeing
market
those
update.
prices, having had hit that bottom, I'm like, wow. At some point, in a bad enough market, we'll be able to pick up mutants again at 3 and kennels at 1. Like even less than that, maybe even. Because I'm like, the fact that Bored Ape they didn't touch the 20s, right? They stayed in the 30s.
No, they
Bro,
went under
they will.
30, but they
They will touch
stayed
those
in the
20s
high
one day.
20.
Oh my god, bro. I remember Journey Crypto a year ago said Bored Apes will touch 20 again. And I was like, all right, bro, I could maybe see 40, but there's no way we will see 20 on Bored Apes. And now I'm like, we will 100% see 20s
Yeah.
on the Bored
I was
Apes.
I was shocked to see Mutants under 5. I really,
Bro,
really was.
mutants will
And
touch
that's
3
why we
one
were
day.
looking
Mutants will
last
touch
week,
3
but
one day, and I will buy one day at 3 something.
and then it gets to 3 and you're gonna think it's gonna go to 1, and then but at some point there is gonna be the bottom and you're gonna miss your buying opportunity. But yeah, I mean last week we sat there, we looked at it. I said not financial advice, but now might be the time. But I don't particularly want to spend on JPEGs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did feel like a local bottom, but the long term
Mm.
bottom, who knows?
Yeah. Also, there's a bunch of spaces. If you guys hit that retweet button, if you're enjoying the space, if you're excited to talk about Memeland, that's why you're here, probably Memeland or Ether. Smash that like retweet, bottom right corner. It's a message icon. We appreciate y'all. If you're on YouTube, hit that like button, hit the subscribe. You already
Is
know.
it my YouTube video, okay?
Huh?
Is it my YouTube video, the pinned tweet?
I have multiple pinned tweets. I have the Twitter stream and video stream. I'll pull yours up and mine
No,
up.
just have mine. Just have mine. Just have mine. All right, you ready for the news?
Ready?
Let's get straight into it. All right, guys. So the latest news, there's a lot of cool news to talk about, mostly the big projects, but it's good to see them coming out. And the first one, we're going to dive quite deep into this. It's Memeland, specifically Captains, and they're doing a lot of unique things here with regards to the art. So I first want to just take you to their Twitter. First, there was this Twitter tweet from the 2nd of June, and then I'm going to take you to, July, and then I'm going to take you to their tweet from the 7th of July, and then we're going to look at the collections and we're going to talk about it. So this was the tweet on the 2nd of July, which caused a lot of FUD, and you're going to see how the market reacted with the floor price on the 2nd of July. Remember this date. But it says, for people who didn't have the time to join or listen to our town hall, number one, we are building the next generation smart PFP. Today, we are launching the starter model. Number 3, Traitables Protocol and Trait Score are coming soon. Number 4, swappable and tradable traits by brands, creators, and other NFT collections are coming very soon. Number 5, Duplicate is an intentional launch strategy and a feature, not a bug. Number 6, Captains equals franchise owners. And number 7, let's cook and eat together. So they had this town hall because it was a lot of fun. Because what came out was, if you go to the collection over here of Memeland, you can see some of them have been revealed. So here's this lady. And for those of you on Spaces, if you're able to, if you jump onto the YouTube, you'll be able to see. And then if you carry on looking, the man, yeah. But as you look, there's more that look exactly the same. And people are not understanding what's going on here. So you can see here, these two look the same as the two we looked at. This guy looks the same as this guy over here. This lady looks the same as the lady above her.
Yeah.
But people are not getting what's going on. So that caused a lot of FUD and a lot of confusion. And I want to just take you back to their tweet that helped recover it first. So that what they then came out and explained is that these are NFTs that are going to be developing over time, where traits can be chosen. So you can choose from different body types. You can choose then the hair color, the hairstyle. You can choose the clothing. You can then choose other accessories. So they're really allowing you as the holder to be a very big part of the creation of your own PFP, which is really a great idea, because a lot of people want a PFP that they identify with. And here you can create that PFP instead of having to try and sell yours and get another one. So initially, people didn't really understand it because all they saw were the base traits. They didn't see the different things that can go on the base traits. But the other very, very interesting thing that they're doing here, and this is really interesting, is they've introduced the ERC6551 type token. And what this is every NFT is this token, but it allows you to actually, it's almost like a wallet for every NFT. So they can effectively airdrop into the NFT, right? What that means is instead of having to do like um, when you used to do a screen, what was it? Take inventory of who the holders were.
Snapshot.
There's a Yeah, instead of having to do a snapshot, that's not necessary anymore because you can literally airdrop either ETH or another NFT or whatever directly into the NFT itself. On top of that, you can have the traits inside the NFT itself also. So, for example, let's say Adidas comes out with sunglasses that are wearable in the metaverse. You could send those sunglasses to your Memeland Captain's NFTs wallet, and that Memeland Captain can then wear those sunglasses. So it's almost a container for other. It is a container for other NFTs. And I think a lot of people are misunderstanding the significance of that, and that really is very innovative and opens up a whole lot of different opportunities for them to continue adding different traits and different NFTs that are literally a part of your captain's NFT.
Damn.
I don't know if that explained it well to you, Kate. Does that make sense?
No, it makes sense. Bro, who was it? Someone had posted a video. It might have been Ash or who was it? Oh, it was OG YouTuber, Blockchain Gavin. Remember him?
Yeah.
He had posted this thing. I just noticed it of various creators just being tired of the PFP stuff in general and the PFP drama and the I just saw like 5 or 6 in quick succession, bigger influencers that I've seen around just express like their, I'm not sure. I wouldn't say it's not lack of interest. The word is it's something else. It's just kind of like a reality hit for the PFPs. A lot of them, they're like, it's almost like unless you're doing something like what Pudgy Penguins is doing, or the total opposite, what Yugo's doing with their game, then they're like everything else with the PFPs doesn't matter because like they're not building like a thing. I guess I've like seen that all week. So I guess the PFPs, I just haven't been paying as much attention because I'm like, with the PFP tradable traits and stuff is super cool for 700 people. But like, that's the only amount of people it's working towards. So I'm trying to think of like, for companies like Memeland, like where's their time best spent for their Web3 initiative? Like what goal should they be starting towards? Like, do we know what Memeland specifically their Web3 initiative is for? Is it just for like building a PFP community online for like Reddit and stuff?
No. So I mean, they do have the meme token coming. They want to make a really strong Web3 community. Remember, 9gag has been around before this. They've got a lot of big guys involved in it. It's not just to create a PFP collection. We can look a bit more into it, but I do want to show you that that town hall was really bad. Because you can see here, it dropped all the way from 6.5 ETH to 4.5 ETH on after that town hall on the 2nd of July, okay, which was the first tweet. And then once people realized what was happening, it recovered fully, and now has stayed pretty consistent above the 6 ETH mark. So I can imagine, you think as you come on here, you sort of think, oh my God, they've messed up. Look how many duplicates there are. This was a problem. And I think that most people didn't get the memo of what they were actually doing, because these are going to evolve. These are continuing to change and can be changed dynamically at any stage. And so when people realize that, so that's got a lot of benefit, but it's also got a big downside in that if you don't know what we're talking about now, if you're not aware of this, and once this is fully revealed, you come onto this collection and see so many things that are so similar, you're not going to want to get involved in this because you're gonna think that something weird is going on here. And I think that alienates them as being a niche PFP opposed to a very broad appeal PFP, if that makes sense to you, right? And remember, there's 10,000, so you want a broad appeal. But you can argue, just like VFriend Series 1, which looked like absolute hell, that what it looks like doesn't matter. people who understand the Memeland and 9 gag ecosystem would want to be in that ecosystem, and the PFP is a great way to be in that ecosystem, right? So there's a lot going on here, and that's why you're seeing this uncertainty of how to react, the price going up and down and up and down.
Bro, it's tough to build a community without that uniqueness. I feel like, I mean, even with VFriends, there's like very specific characters. This is just
these are going to get there. These are going to get there. They're going to
I guess so. Until then, basically, they're going to fight it. There's just no way not to fight that part of the game. But I don't think it's bad. They're just going to probably dip for a while. They're probably just going to be sitting at 30% less than they are right now for a bit until people start getting those traits. Like, I mean, I guess they're never going to be finalized, but until they all start looking different and there's a bit of a more individual identity person to person inside the community. Because right now it's like playing Sims. There's like not really community. It's just everyone looks the exact same. You got a box head. It's not.
Oh, she's quite nice.
Oh, geez. Damn, Philip. Chill, bro.
All right. Okay, I'm just saying.
Oh, man.
With the Italian flag.
Philip can't be stopped right now. He's a lunatic. Y'all got to come to the video stream.
Okay. Yeah, man. So that's Memeland, man. I mean,
I want to see a drop off in spaces, and I want to see an uptick in video people streams right now.
Look, the nice thing about the pros for me with Memeland is they're definitely thinking outside the box. They've got a proper Web3 company that was in existence before NFTs. And yeah, I think that they are doing things against the grain. So we saw them launch that first "You Are the Real MVP" collection, where the floor's still sitting above 50 Ethereum for those. And that was before they even launched, and they promised they would give you whitelist and whatever, and people have gotten value from those. Then they launched the potatoes, which was also unique. Remember, those evolved as the NFT itself evolved. Yeah. And now they've come out with this new token standard, and they're also looking at the PFP being able to be created by you, and they've got the Memeland token or the meme token coming out, which everyone else is running away from tokens because of what's happening at the SEC. They are moving towards it. So these guys are playing their own game, and I like that. I like that side of it. Whether they're making the right decisions or not, I like that they doing things their own way, you know.
Crypto Dream says, can you copy other people's setups? That would be interesting, because like you would just look at whatever the best sales are and go copy some of those traits real quick. That's an interesting.
So some of them are rare traits, will only be available to certain PFPs, right? So there's still rarity.
Oh, there's a rarity.
Yeah. So you can even see it on the babies. Let me share my screen again. I had it. Give me 1 sec. Okay, so here's a spirit lady, but you can even see it's coming out, which looks really nice. You can even see on the babies, some of the babies you can see are going to be, here's spirit babies.
Yeah.
So only those babies will have spirit. Here's a devil trait, right? So only that one will have it, whereas most of them, you know, so you can see from the babies how rare they are. Most of them are these standard ones over here.
Yep.
Which is what we're seeing the PFPs of the standard ones being over here. And then as you go down, you get different rarer traits that are only available to them, right? Does that answer your question, Crypto? Do you?
I think it does. He says it sounds like Wolf Boy Social. It does. It does a little bit sound like Wolf Boy Social.
From the evolution side, yeah. So now we got some news out of Yuga. The Legends of Nara, they're one of their millionth games. But now we've got a round table. And in this image, you can see there's different collections. So let's just take you to their Twitter where you can see it better. And this is from the other side. It said Bridge Worlds, Closed Ranks, Slay Shattered, and Tame Other Side. So what's happening over here is they're showing which collections are going to be able to play initially within the other side. And I just want to point out these collections. If you have a look here, you've got Mutant Hound Club, which is quite interesting because they are actually a derivative project. They're no way related. I'll show you them.
Interesting.
I'm sure you remember them. They only came. The art is sick, bro. But they literally a knockoff of or a better version of Yuga's dogs.
Wait, hold on. Is this made by someone on the Bored Apes or something like that? It's the artist from the Yuga team? Wait, so what was the floor price a week ago?
It's not associated.
Are they pumped?
They pumped. They look here. They were sitting at 0.1
Oh, that's not
ETH.
bad. That's not so
They
bad.
went all the way to 0.3
Whoa.
when this tweet came out,
Got it.
and now they've consolidated to just under 0.2.
Yeah. They'll probably come back to around
And
0.1. That'd be cool to get, bro. Just because you're like now you're officially part of like Yuga, kind of like you're at the round table. That's a cool buy.
so you're not a part of. And I agree with you that it might be a good buy if you want to play the game, but you're not a part of Yuga in any way. You just have access to the other side. You'll still need a vessel to have access to the other side also. So it's quite an expensive ticket to be able to play in the game. You got to buy a 0.1 or 0.2 ETH NFT and also a vessel that's sitting at a similar price. So for us NFT guys, maybe 0.4 is not too bad. But if you're trying to make a game that's played by everyone, who's going to pay $900 just to get an entry ticket into a game? Then you still need your 8 coin and the rest of it.
Bro,
so,
nobody in NFTs wants to play that game though. They're only marketing.
But I'm saying, especially even out of there, it's a high barrier to entry. But either way, we've got the Mutant Hounds, we've got Cryptodes, we've got World of Women, and they also pumped on this news. We got Meebits, we've got obviously Bored Ape with a heavy metal sitting on his lap over here. We got Forgotten Wizards Club, Forgotten Wizard Ruin Club. We've got 10KTF as well, and Renga as well involved over here, and obviously the coders. Yeah, here's your guy.
Interesting.
So those are the
Tokyo
connections.
Citizen at first.
Yeah, it looks similar. And then when you look at it over here, you'll see compared to the advert when they originally dropped the trailer,
Yeah,
they've gotten rid of nouns because nouns were in here. And they've also gotten rid of CryptoPunks, interestingly. So, obviously they're trying to keep CryptoPunks now as a separate art project, but, that's strange because that's under their umbrella.
Right.
And Cool Cats is also not in here either. So
That's
we've lost Cool Cats, we've lost nouns, and we've lost CryptoPunks, which is quite interesting.
I think it's basically like who's got a stronger brand. World of Women matters more than Cool Cats matters. They just do. It's a better message, stronger message, more legit.
I agree, but then that doesn't explain how they can allow these mutant hound guys.
Bro,
this must be a favor.
They're hella innovative, bro.
They're a derivative of the dogs.
Innovation.
It's strange.
No,
I mean, I really like the art on this.
Guys, this is the future.
Mutant
right
hounds.
Here, you're looking at it.
I really like the art on these, though. I must be honest. What do you think of the art? I mean,
I think it's cool. I just have no desire to buy animals. I would much rather buy like a PFP that would represent me, not an animal that would not represent me. Unless there was a specific game where you had to turn into a dog for the game, like maybe in that case, but still, otherwise, I'm looking for avatars of people or humanoid looking things. I don't desire to be one of these. I don't see myself in them.
So yeah, we saw the pump there. The other pump that we saw was World of Women. They came out with that big news that we spoke about. Yeah, they did. I'm going to show you, Kate. But remember, Kate, you brought us that story about the FC Barcelona World of Women collab. That's the first we've heard from World of Women in a year. And now we heard this. Obviously, this is because Guy Alsari, who started at Yuga, it works for World of Women now. So there's definitely that relationship over there. But they did pump, bro. If you have a look over here again, they were sitting at 0.5.
Whoa, I did not know they're that low. Okay.
And then they went to 0.8, and they're now at 0.8. They're staying at 0.8. So remember when we looked at them last week, I thought they were like 1.5, and you said to me, no, they were about half ETH, and I can't remember exactly, but they were about 0.55 or something like that. So they've almost 2x'd in a week.
Wow. Goddamn.
And then Forgotten Ruins, which was... So this project I've heard a lot about over a long time. It's quite an OG project. It's been around for about 2 years. I don't know a huge amount of it, but I do know some very, very big guys that I respect love this project. But I don't know enough to talk about it on stream without doing research. All I can show you is that they actually went down on the news.
Oh, no.
Which is hilarious. They were sitting at a 0.65. I mean,
they're not
there
about
might
it.
have been
like Yuga. That community.
Yeah.
I've been watching too much live streams.
they're now 0.55. So they
Yeah, let's
haven't dropped
fucking
too
go,
terribly,
baby. Let's go.
but
Let's
they're down.
go.
They're definitely down, which is interesting.
Dead, bro. That's actually hilarious. How is that even possible? How do you possibly go down in floor after being
I think that's such a bullish thing for their community. They're like, fuck this, we bigger than you guys. You
Bro,
know,
that is one of
this
the
is.
funniest things I've ever seen in my life. I don't think I've ever thought that could ever happen. Imagine being in a part of an official Yuga Labs announcement and y'all literally crash. That is
Yeah.
so funny, bro. Oh my god. That is too funny, bro.
And everything else went up, Kane. Everything else that was in that announcement.
Oh, God. Wow.
Almost
So
2x.
funny.
I mean, I don't know what happened there. I
Oof.
can't tell you.
Bro, this is why you cannot, like, I had a call with my friend yesterday and he was asking me about my thoughts on investing in a Yuga asset versus another asset. And I was like, bro, do not look at any NFT ever like an investment vehicle and you'll be happy. But if you look at NFT as an investment vehicle, you are literally, you may as well actually go and flip a coin because it's that much of like, I don't know what's going to happen. Like I remember when Cool Man's Universe had a huge announcement, Coffee Man Dan, literally the last time we saw him on Twitter because it was so traumatic probably. He like has the biggest announcement of his entire life that he's so excited to have and he just delivers it the wrong way and the floor cuts in half. In minutes, bro. I remember sitting there in the spaces thinking I should probably sell this right now because there's no way this is that hype because it's just him on stage and it's not hype enough and I haven't seen a trailer. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to list it right now. And I did, and it sold. And then the second it sold, he dropped the announcement. It didn't, it wasn't like viral in nature. So it didn't like get everyone hyped up. Everyone was just like, oh, nice. And then everyone's like, oh, shit, that was the announcement. And then it just crashed in minutes. It was at 0.4 or something like that. And damn, bro.
So Crypto Dream has got me thinking now. So he says people selling the hype, right? So that might be it. What I'm thinking is maybe it leaked in their Discord or whatever before, and the pump was before. So let's have a look.
Okay.
Let's see. I mean, let's have a look and see if there was a pump before, because that's right. I mean, that's like an OG community would do that. They would know it. They would know about it. What? They would know about it before, and would have bought it. Always buy the rumor, sell the news.
The team is like, yo, sell your fucking assets right now, guys. Sell it, sell it, sell it.
No, but look, bro, that's not the case. On the 30-day, it was even higher. So that doesn't really. I mean, okay, end of June here, they pumped to 0.8, 0.79899, so 0.8.
Okay.
And they're now sitting at 0.56. So maybe they knew about it before, but they started selling the news before the news even came out. I don't know. We need to have someone from this community let us know. If anyone in the comments or on Twitter Spaces knows anything about Forgotten Ruins with a cult, why didn't they pump when they were shown as being one of the PFP collections that buys you access?
Not why did they pump? Why did they actually go straight down?
Why did they not pump? Yeah. Oh, why did they actually drop? Yeah. when the announcement came out. I'd love to know.
That is so funny, bro. Man.
All right, you ready for the next one?
I am.
All right, let's get straight into it. Hold on one sec. We had Azuki. So look, I mean, Azuki to me is just going from bad to worse. I mean, I'm not saying they're as bad as Moonbirds yet, but I'm starting to see some similarities, backtracking on things, that loss of confidence, getting the community to vote on every decision. Should Zagabond wake up this morning? Should he not? So now the latest thing is that they've got to vote on the elementals. For those of you that don't know, there was a huge backlash when the elementals were revealed. They look almost identical to Azuki's. On top of that, they're more important than the beans, which everyone thought were more important than elementals. So now, going on currently, it started yesterday, but it's still going on. They've got to vote now. So if you are a holder of Azuki elementals, you can vote for the background, a domain background, if you want it to change or not. So you basically go to their website. If you're a holder, you'd connect your wallet and you can say you want to keep it as the originals or you want it to be modified. Modification means that you change the background slightly. So if you look at this lady over here, I'll try and make this bigger for you. If you look at this lady over here, she's got a background with a blue sort of at sign, and if you go to original, there's no blue at sign. It's just the blue background. So they want to try to do something that will make it stand apart. I don't think that that's noticeable, because if you're using it as a PFP, I mean, I had to make it bigger for you to even be able to see the difference. I don't know, bro. I just think, first of all, they need to make proper decisions and show leadership themselves, instead of, getting everything voted on. If you really involve people too much, and you're going to upset more people than not. Just make the decision. Let the people that agree.
They just need to just redo the art if they're gonna do this at all. Don't even, bro. Why bother changing kind of changing the background? Just fucking fix the problem. The problem was it looks too much like Azuki. Just fix the fucking arm. Just be like, yo, sorry, we're gonna fix it. Obviously, the moment they change the art, the floor will literally 2x. Like, if they just said, yo, we're gonna fix all of the art, see you in 4 months, it would pump 100%, and then all the FUD would be gone. Because that was the only FUD, bro. When the art's back, everyone's gonna be like, bro, they did so well, man. They fixed the art, and then everyone pumps it up. There's too many whales in Azuki, bro. It's too easy for them to fix this. If they want to fix it, they will.
I disagree with you. I think that they are going to continue to bleed a slow death. I think that it's not necessarily just that there's this thing that they look exactly the same as Azuki's. I think that they were held in such high esteem that people cannot believe now. They sort of they were, Azuki was like becoming the sort of golden child of NFTs, and this has shown that they are just as bad as everyone else. They don't know what the hell they're doing. They've taken months and months and months of these stupid beans being there to come out with something that looks exactly like the original collection. That's not the FUD. The FUD is, we thought you guys knew better than this. You, the guys who are building gold skateboards, doing things different, how can you make such a rudimental mistake, such a basic mistake as making your secondary collection look exactly the same? And they've lost trust in the team. And I don't think you recover. I don't think you recover from that.
No, here's the thing. I agree with you there. And I'm 100% on board with you there for like the next month. And then in about a month, I completely would think the opposite. I think in a month, once all this emotions is back, and then we're a little bit depressed, and another person makes a mistake, and then another person does well. I don't think so. I think in a few months, everyone's kind of chilling again. Everyone's emotions are back to normal. These level out around whatever they level out around. And then we have 3 to 4 weeks of hype around Azuki. A bunch of people who are in Azuki obviously saying, listen, everyone makes issues. We have Frank coming on Spaces going, yo, we fucked up before. D mistake, whatever. D come back. And then everyone forgets about it. And then the metadata goes back into hibernation. Everyone gets pumped up. We start seeing Spaces about it. Azuki, what do y'all think? Is it going to pump the floor? Is it not going to pump the floor? The floor starts to pump. Everyone starts freaking out. Machi jumps in. Shion Villain jumps in. The floor dumps a little bit. There's FUD. Someone makes a... Bro, we've seen this happen 100 times with 100 different projects.
Look, the only way that I think you have any chance of being correct is that they've recovered from this level of FUD before, from worse FUD with Zagabond. But that might work out of their favor, because it could be like they were almost on probation in everyone's mind, and now it's the second problem.
I don't know, bro. They did not feel like they're on. They still don't feel like they're on probation. I think they feel totally fine. I think people are trying to hold on to the feeling of this pain that they're like, God damn it. But I think secretly in a month, it's going to be right back to normal. And this is probably, honestly, I could see these cutting another 50%, but I could see them coming back to 2 ETH. I don't think they'll ever really do anything crazy, but I see no reason that people won't just forget about this like they forgot about everything else. Bro, even the worst of projects has recovered.
Yeah, but it's not just this. It's also then how they handled it in the Spaces. I mean, guys like us
they're going to forget, bro. They don't care in a month. We completely forget.
But this is what happened with Moonbirds, and they just continued making mistakes.
Moonbird CCO'd against everyone's... That was like... That's like not even a mistake. That's like should be illegal type of mistake. And then their team left. If Zagabond leaves the team, it's over. If Zagabond walks away, it will be over, because you can't recover from that kind of FUD. The team has rugged before, and then he rugs now. It's over if that happens for Azuki.
Okay, they've gone from 17 Ethereum to 7 Ethereum, my brother. There are people
these are higher lows, bro. Higher lows.
No. This is falling off a cliff lows.
To 8.
No, but this is in a week, Cade.
I know. It's bad. It is
It's
bad.
completely different.
It is very bad, but they're going to come back at sitting at 10 ETH in a few weeks. They're going to be sitting at 10 ETH just like they always do.
It depends. And listen to me, it depends on their next couple of moves. And if they keep making everything a bloody vote, and not taking decisive action and fixing the mistake, there's been a lot of talk they could have done like animals or sub collections or babies. Azuki babies would have been so cool. Little babies, man. They would have been lacquer. So, I mean, we'll have to see.
Hold on. This thing I was just saying is only if they change the art. If they don't change the art, I don't have that same thesis. This is only if they say, all right, we're fixing all of the art. Sorry. We'll see you in a few months. That's the only way I see this happening.
Yeah, and fixing it well and maybe making babies. But even with that said,
they have
okay,
to.
But I'm saying even with that said, they've pissed off some of their whales, and that's what happened with Moonbirds. Some guys have sold and are not coming back to Azuki, so they're on a very tight line. I think this is 50-50. It could go either way depending on the next couple of weeks and what they decide to do.
But if you had to guess,
I would say that they're not going to recover. They will never be at 17 ETH again.
Oh,
ever.
Wow. All right. As a fan, we're going to need to see someone make the case against Philip for this one.
Well, we can
only make the case if they fix the art. If they don't fix the art, I'm in Philip's boat too. I agree.
Okay, but I'm saying even if they fix the art, they've lost the trust. The trust is gone. That trust that this team knows what they're doing. This is a seasoned team.
Bro,
they know what they do.
They don't care about trust, bro. Their founder is Zagabond. He's a literal rug puller. They don't care.
You're missing the point.
No way, bro.
Let's see.
I'm telling you, they don't care, because if they did, they wouldn't be pumping that project. They care because their bags are in there, which means they're going to care again. That's my point, is they do care about the trust, but the thing is they have so many bags and they didn't sell all of them. So they're like, well, we have no choice but to like have a support. There has to be a support line here because we're not selling them below this. So they're going to care because there's too many whales who are still there, bro. And if they did, they wouldn't be in the Zuki specifically because
so remember the problem with whales, Cade, is that you got a couple of guys, and this is the case in Azuki. You got a couple of guys sitting on 50, 100 of these things. And you piss off a couple of those guys and you're in big trouble, because if 50 Azuki, even if you piss off one whale, if 50 Azuki hit the market, and you're in trouble. And that's what happened here. That's how it can go from 17 to 7. So now they're on a tight line. And if they piss off another whale, it's going to half again. And then they're sitting at 3.5. And then there's panic. And so they are in big trouble. I think there's a 75% chance that they don't recover ever from this. But I'm telling you, they'll never go to 17 ETH again. Ever. I'll say it here. Take this tweet, do whatever. You can do your funny dance if I'm wrong, like you did with Moonbirds, but I won't be wrong. So I see we got a question here from Shadow NFT. What are your thoughts on RTKFT? I recently joined because I think Nike is going to take them to the next level. Plus, Animus Eggs looks pretty cool. 3D characters are cool. So, Shadows, thanks for coming, man. Good to see you. And let's get straight into it. That was on the timeline, and let's chat about it because there has been a little bit of stuff going on. First, let's play this trailer. I'll play it with sound because I couldn't care about being demonetized and losing $1.70. Okay, so you can tell that it's a bear market because it's only 10 seconds long. So they didn't want to pay. Yeah, that's it. They didn't want to pay someone for more than 10 seconds. But like always, right? You've got really good animation. It's just showing the entire ecosystem on a comeback. So when hope is lost, we rise. It's sort of the introduction of the next stage, and that's what happened. They then posted this, trying to show us what the Animus is going to become. So again, they're playing the sort of Yuga card here, in that you got to try and figure out what is going on here.
Okay.
So I don't know if we start from top to bottom or what it is, but let's just say we start at the top. You've got a dog that's half dog, half man. He opens a zip and his tail comes out and he becomes a dog. And then I don't know. So it's almost like maybe your Clone X will be able to become an animal and change back, like we saw with Doodles, where you could give it its vehicle and come back. What do you think, Kate?
I mean, yeah, I mean, Project Animus, it has to be some type of metamorphosis type of thing where you can just morph between your two characters. So I agree, it's gonna be like some type of companion / skin that you can more than likely swap between. I think it's cool as fuck. Like that would be awesome, bro. Imagine the real
But it's
world.
its own project,
Do that.
eh? So
Oh,
it is its own project. So it makes it. Yeah, I mean, let's see what the floor has done here. This is 7 days. When did they drop this video? Let's just have a look here. 3rd of July. Okay, so let's go here. 3rd of July. So guys were initially. It's hard to know because.
so hold on, what time did they drop it? That's 10 a.m. or that's midnight.
Yeah, but
It's like right. That's the
again,
night before.
you're not really going to know the time zones anyway.
It's true.
5:06
It'll be
p.m.
your time. So
my
that's end of
time.
the day. End of the day, July.
But
5th.
that's my time, Kate.
But no, but I'm
That's
saying
South
on
African
OpenSea,
time.
you can check that exact same time.
OpenSea, I don't know if it's.
So
Let's have a look.
that's AM.
5
So
p.m.
5 right
So
there. So they initially pumped.
so
For
why
like
were
an hour.
they had a big drop off
Interesting.
just prior. It is interesting. So let's assume that these time zones are all my time zones. Then you're correct. They did pump a bit to. I mean, it's so hard to get an actual number here. 0.589, and now they're sitting at 0.449. Interesting. Listen. You know me. I'm bullish as hell. I was bullish as hell on CloneX. Animus, I thought was a good investment. They've actually, if you look at the activity over a longer time period, they've stayed pretty consistent at this price. They're one of the few projects that have. I think John's really touched on it, and I've said it numerous times before. That my problem at the moment with CloneX, and I'm sorry, Kate, we've got to do something about this. Every time I share a bloody comment, it covers you, which is not okay. We've got to do something about it. But what John is saying is very much true. Dot Swoosh and is almost competing with CloneX, whereas we thought CloneX was effectively Nike's digital Web3 entry. That's what we thought. And then Nike went after the fact, after acquiring CloneX, went afterwards and created Dot Swoosh for the mass market, which is virtual sneakers and the same thing that CloneX is doing. And I don't know if there's been a split behind the scenes. I would think there has between CloneX and Nike, that RTKFT has become its own ecosystem that uses Nike's production to make the merch. I don't know what is going on here, but it's weird that Nike has launched their own sort of platform for digital wearables and things like that. And that has caused a lot of confusion and a lot of people, including me, to sort of think, okay, this isn't Nike's entry. Dot Swoosh is Nike's entry, right? Even though Dot Swoosh came after.
I don't really understand the thing with. I have one. I just don't know what to do with it. It's not a PFP. It's not a community. I don't think it's competing with CloneX.
It allows you to buy. No, it allows you to buy things. They had a drop the other day for digital sneakers. That if you have a passport like you do, you'd have to pay for it. But you'd have to pay for it. It wasn't an airdrop. But they launched digital sneakers. They also launching unique sneakers in real life, exactly like CloneX is doing.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I also don't know. Again, if anyone in the CloneX ecosystem or part of the team wants to give us some clarity, I would really, really appreciate it. But looking here at the last 90 days, let's have a look. It has been on a slow bleed overall. That was obviously a mistake, that one line down. So yeah, definitely some news going on in the ecosystem. Good to see anything happening there. I don't think they're going away. I think they're going to continue doing what they're doing. I like this ecosystem a lot. Yeah, I hold it deeper to my heart. I think it's good. Going to be interesting, more so to see what Animus becomes.
True.
Very interested to see.
Yeah, bro. I'm rooting for CloneX. I don't really have any interest in investing in it, but as far as seeing what they do, bro, it's pretty cool. There's not that many companies that even can compete on this level. So like the only people really to look at, other than maybe Project Kaizen or, I mean, I don't know who else is doing anything that's remotely close to like, yo, we're trying to show you like some futuristic tech / VR AR components. Like there's a couple smaller ones, but no one at the scale that they're doing. So I think in Web3 we should be rooting for them in general. Maybe not their floor price specifically, but rooting for CloneX just because I don't know. They've dropped some cool content. I don't know what they've actually built. but like it looks cool at least. I mean, that's all I can really say, I guess.
No, they don't. Look, I know the Clinics ecosystem better than most people out there. I don't often say that and toot my own horn, but I really do. And they've done a lot of cool stuff. They were one of the first to use on Cypher, where you had your own virtual room that you could customize, which later many other big projects, including World of Women and other projects, use the same thing. They were one of the first to do that, and they've continued to do that as far as that goes. Digital wearables, they've been researching that digital wearable technology for an incredibly long time, which is really, really cool. And we've seen that happening. And they were the first to launch clothing that has got that inside of it, that you could put that hoodie on, and then you had virtual wings as well. And then the same thing with their shoe drop. They've done the similar thing with their virtual shoes, that you can wear them in the metaverse and do things like that with them. And then your in real life merch is really cool. It's Nike quality merch. I've gotten quite a lot of it. It really is the normal Nike quality. It's great quality stuff, and it's unique. So there's a lot of stuff that they've done that they've done well. They messed up. They were also the first to launch the container, the box that no one knew what it was. They were the first to do that. And I see here we've got a super from Shadow. Thank you, Shadow. What's he saying here?
Damn.
Dot Swoosh are $20 shoes that are digital and Web 2.5. Okay, so sort of in between. And they recently announced they will not be interoperable fully, only between EA games. It's just for normies. RTKFT is their premium. Okay, cool.
I mean, I'm
bullish.
So that makes sense. That does make sense.
Yeah. Then I'm bullish, man, because if RTKFT is Nike's thing, that's their proper, what they behind as far as their Web3 entry and metaverse wearables, then I'm super bullish on them. Super bullish. But I'm telling you, like I said last week, I am feeling like I need to get some ETH and I need to start buying a couple of NFTs. I really, really do feel that way. It's starting with the Clonex, an Animus egg, a mutant again. I got to get one of those. I got to get into some of these ecosystems. I'm super, super bullish, and I think the entry level prices are high.
Really?
Azuki is almost like Pepe coin. It could go back to 15 ETH in the next 2 months, but it could go to zero. It's like at this point for me, Azuki now, because of what has happened, I really believe Azuki is high risk.
Vagabond would have to leave for that to happen. If he's there, they stay.
I think it goes up if he leaves. I don't like that guy.
No way, bro. No way.
It should.
It should go up, but I don't think it will. I think it's the nail in the coffin if he leaves. Because then it's like there's literally no reason for any self-respecting person to be in that project at that point. Seriously. Like, I feel like egos will take over and we'll be like, all right, we need to put our faith in someone else. And I think that liquidity goes elsewhere. It goes to someone like Pudgy Penguins. It should.
It's going to be interesting.
Pudgy Penguins should be at 8 ETH, bro. In my opinion. If D-Gods is sitting at 7 to 8 ETH, Pudgy Penguins should be close to 6, 7.
Pudgy's gone from 1 to 4 in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
I think they're fairly priced. I think, and I know I'm going to get a lot of flack from you, Cade. I think Frank D-Gods are overpriced at 80. Honestly, especially in this market.
I think they're great.
I think they should probably. Exactly. I'm actually agreeing with you, but I think it's the other way around. I think D-God should be 4. Yeah. So I think Pudgies and D-Gods are doing good things. Yeah. But yeah, I think Sappy, so. Bro. We've got another.
I'm telling you, Sappy Seals is on the rise too. Sappy Seals is not copying. They're copying their style on Instagram. They're doing very well. Sappy Seals is a community.
They've been building a game for a long time, Sappy Seals. Yeah. And I am bullish on them. Not financial advice. So I just want to say one thing. So we got a My Pet Hooligan guy, and we did that video on My Pet Hooligan. What a community, bro. We tweeted out that video. I tweeted it out. I tagged you in it. And next second, I had 300 and something retweets, another 100 followers, and really, what a community. Just a big shout out to the community. I agree 100%. I would pick up a My Pet Hooligan 100%. I think that they heavily undervalued, like we said last week, and I completely agree with this comment over here. 100%. I see we got another OG here. We got Luke. Luke, good to see you. Hey, so good to see you. Always good. And then, yeah, that's beautiful. A good merch. If you want it, go to george.com. Okay.
GeorgeKingdom.shop.
I was close. Sappy Seals, Sappy Seals is value menu pudgies.
Yo,
Is it every NFT project ever?
yo.
Yeah, look, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I do think that Ruin Dust unfortunately does have a point here. I do think that people are starting to see that even now with Bored Ape Yacht Club at around 30 Ethereum, which is the lowest it's been since 2021. So if you say 30 ETH times, let's just say, so it's still $60,000. That is too much money for something where there's another 9,999 of them. I agree, I do agree with Rune Dust, unfortunately. I think that the upper echelon collections are overvalued. I really do believe that. $60,000 for
That's
Bored
why I'm
Ape
not in a
is
hurry
too
to get in
much.
all these because I want to see what they've got and if there's any point to even be in their community in a few years. That's why I'm like a lot of them. I'm just kind of chilling. Like there's a few that I'm just like paying attention to like the people I like and seeing what communities that they're vibing with. What are the just like if there's any opportunities, like whatever. There's just certain things that I go towards, I guess. I mean that's really the only reason I buy them anyway. I don't really ever buy because I'm like I can't wait to sell this at a different price. That's very rare for me because I wasn't naturally a trader. I guess maybe in this next bull run I might be, but most of the NFTs I
See,
buy.
I would buy to trade, but what I would do is that typical thing that we used to talk about in the bull market. I'd buy two or three, so sort of buy one to hold, and buy the other two, hopefully to 2x the first one, and then to sell the other one, and then you completely paid for it yourself, and you get to keep the third and a bit of profit. But another one that I would actually, I don't, I'm not, and none of this is financial advice, just to make it very, very clear. But another one that I would seriously look at buying, and I don't really know if now is the best time or not, because the floor price is pretty high because of all the good news. But I'm bullish on only one force. I really, really am. I think that they're looking really strong at the moment. Um, if we have a look over here, they welcomed a new artist, Raymond _90, but he's an artist from Riot Games, bro. And he's worked on projects like Legends of Runeterra, Spider-Man, and things like that. He's now their creative advisor, bro. So that's pretty bullish. Oh, sorry. And remember, only one force was the original anime before Zuki.
Bro, what if Oni One replaces Azuki, bro?
I'm telling you, I would buy an only one force as well.
I
That's
would
part of my shopping.
much rather be an Oni One. Oni One's art is way cooler too. Like anyone who talks shit about Oni One over Azuki, you're crazy. Oni One's art is literally 10 times cooler than Azuki's. I would much rather hold one of these. It's so much more colorful. They don't have a fucking rugger as their project founder. They're sitting at a way undervalued price if you're going to compare the two. I guess they haven't done the same hype, but if you're just going to be like, yo, this anime project versus that one, dude, Azuki could have, or I mean, not Azuki, anyone could do this, bro. The fact that they came back from the dead the way they did, bro.
Yeah,
I've also heard
they were
rumblings of
proper
Mechaverse,
dead.
bro. I've heard rumblings of Mechaverse maybe making a comeback. I've also heard that for the last 4 months, so it's probably not true. But I have heard rumblings of Mechaverse being something that people are paying attention to behind the scenes. I don't know why.
Look, it looks like a good time to buy in. I mean, the high of only one force, not financial advice. The high was 2 ETH in the last 90 days, and they're sitting at 1.19. Yeah, man, they're making good moves. They're making good moves. I see something interesting here from John Ezra saying Murakami flowers and Max Payne by X copy. Definitely, I agree, John. I mean, look, that's art meta. We mostly talking about PFPs here. On the art side, I mean, art side's too expensive, but I mean, I'd love a ringers. I'd love a pretenders. I mean, obviously, but I mean, that stuff I think is still way too overpriced. I really do believe that, unfortunately, long term, unless it's a small collection of 100 by a notable artist, I don't think these floor prices are sustainable.
I mean, it's always been that same story. You're like, you got to find a creator who's literally going to get famous. It's the only way you will make monetary investment gains from that. It's like you have to find someone who actually is worth more in 20 years, which is very hard to do. Like most people aren't even in the game in 20 years. They've completely left and disappeared because they either failed or gave up. Like almost everyone that I've invested in is gone, which is sad because I'm like, I was always like, I would take pride in finding people where I'm like, no, this person's going to stick around. And I'm probably like 5 for 50 on that. Like I would say 45 of them are gone. And I'm like, I can't believe it. Like they were so consistent. They were like, it seemed like they were really about it. I was like, there's no way, like they're a real artist. They're not just here for it. Bro, they're almost all gone, or they've drastically by 99% reduced everything. They're coming on every 9 weeks to make one video. They're not, and I'm just like, dude, damn, that's too bad. Because it's not just NFTs that give you that platform. Now you have a platform online which you can use to push and do anything you want. It's just a matter of not giving up.
Look, I think I get you, and I do understand the disappointment. I also think that it's a different situation for different people, Kate. So just put yourself in this situation. Imagine that you weren't doing your sort of diary type content online, and you came in and really started online because of the NFT bull market. Just imagine that, and you were making a decent living. You left your normal job. But let's just say you had a child, you had expenses every single month, like proper expenses. Like, you had to buy formula for your child every single month. You got a wife that has just had a baby. Now this child's new. She's not working. You've got to pay the rent. You've got to do this. You've got to do that. You now can't get a cent out of sort of any sponsorship deals or things like that because you're an NFT channel. At some point, you got to say, look, I've got to do what I got to do. I got to get a job, and I got to pay the bills.
For artists, I'm like, bro, like I know life gets heavy and difficult, but if your goal is to be like, that was why you made the NFT project, because you were like, I believe in myself to be one of the best. I think I can get there. That's not contingent on the market or how hard life gets. It's just one of those things that like you still do the thing because like that's what you want. Like your goal is to get here. Like you still have to like do the work to get there.
Yeah, maybe I misunderstood. I thought you meant like these YouTubers. You said were doing videos every day and then post once every couple of months.
No, I didn't hold my YouTubers.
Okay, no, I didn't know. Artist side of things, artist side of things, I got no idea. Just
artists
because
that like if I was a photographer, I guess this nulls out your argument then. But like if say the argument is still valid, like if I was a photographer and I made that whole thing and I am a photographer. I did make the projects. I am still here. But if my goal was like all photography stuff, even if life got busy, I would still be able to make content, even if it's shitty content. But like, bro, you have a chance here. You just sold art online. That's your actual photography. People like your photography and like you enough to buy it. And like, why would you not at least keep that? I'm not sure. Like, if your goal is to do photography and make sales and like share that, then like, what? There is no argument for that, specifically for artists. So if you're an artist who gave up because you're like, man, there's no more NFT market, it's like, okay, that's fine. Take out the NFT part. You still have the art and you still have these products that you created. You can kind of like, sort of like Punchy Penguins did, sort of forget about the NFT part for a bit and build your following and your brand just about you. And be like, yo, by the way, all these things that you see are digital collectibles you can buy. And at that point, you've won them over because they like you. And so they're a lot more willing to be like, okay, I did hear about this NFT thing. It seems like people bought them in the past for X amount of money. It looks like there was some kind of value. There must be something to this. Maybe I can ask them, it's been a year and a half. Yo, if I bought this NFT, there's no one fucking in your community anymore. Everyone's gone. Would you be down to like send me a real life version or like whatever, like mail me something like that? That's one of those things where if you're a small time artist, those are things you can do. And that can build you in the ranks kind of and push you up and up.
Look,
and
I think what a part of what you're saying is very, very, very important in life in general is not to close any doors no matter what. So always to keep doors open. And I think by sort of ragging and selling an NFT and then leaving, no matter how many you sold and no matter how big or small the profit was, I think it is a mistake because you are closing a door. And you should never do that. You should always keep a door open, even if you worked as a waiter at frickin' Wendy's, and you end up leaving. Leave on good terms. So you never know. And I'm not saying you necessarily will never get another job at Wendy's, but you never know. You might end up opening a company that supplies the cups to Wendy's, and you walk in there, and that person who you told to go F themselves is now the head of procurement for Wendy's. And the world works like that.
You gotta stroke the fire,
weird
bro.
ways.
You just gotta keep stroking the fire. You gotta,
but also don't leave doors closed.
Exactly.
If you need to leave something, rather leave it correctly instead of just up and leaving and screwing people over, right?
Yeah, I mean, my torches were just nothing when I first sold them. Like, I was like, yeah, these are just an extension of the access keys. If you can't afford them, this is another way to get into the ecosystem. And I was like, and in the future, I'll figure something out for it. I don't know what it is though. That's literally what my pitch was when I first sold the first torch collection. It was fine. That's why they bought it. They knew that's what they were getting themselves into. By the time the second torch collection came, a full year after that, it had basically been the same message, but I was like, I'm a little bit closer to finding out what that is. And I think it's going to have to do with my content and what I'm going to have available and access and Discord. I'm going to close the Discord and make it some type of token gated thing. And if you want to be part of that at all, especially when the market comes back, you're going to want to have one of these torches. And if you want all the stuff, you're going to want one of the access keys. And as the world changes, like I will have to adapt. And so like the meaning of holding one of those changes. But like, that's kind of the game. Is like, okay, if I'm a big trader, then during Cade's trading era, when everything's about trading, like I should be in this for sure. And if I need to get out, I sell it and I get out. But it's one of those things where I'm like, it just moves and morphs with you. And that's the whole point of the NFTs. Is like, that's your assets. It's your name. It's your brand on the line. And it's your responsibility to kind of pick up the pieces every time they fall and do something with it.
I understand. And I respect you for doing it. I think everyone should. And it is disappointing when people don't do it. Okay, next story, Project Ether. All right, so Ether, this new mint, only whitelisted minted so far. We're still waiting for the main. Let's just do this backwards. So let's jump onto OpenSea first. You can see here 1,800 have been minted. You've got only 3% listed. That's quite bullish. Owner count 879, which is a good unique owner count, just under 50%. And floor price sitting at 0.67. A lot of, I did look into some of these sales. I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. Definitely a lot of the team buying their own NFTs at this point to keep the floor price propped up because they've still got the public. I don't know why they made the public a week later. It was a big mistake. I would have told them if they had asked for advice. I would have told them freely. It's a mistake. The one thing that I've learned in the projects I have assisted and been a big part of is momentum during mint is incredibly important. And you don't want to lose that momentum. And having a week break is a big mistake. So we saw the opposite end of it with the 10-minute mint window for Azuki, which was also very offensive to a lot of people. And that also had a lot of problems. So it wasn't just the art. But I mean, imagine you lived in a country far away and that time was 3 o'clock in the morning for you and you in Azuki whale. It's just not considerate. So that's the opposite end where they try to keep the momentum too much. They literally gave 10 minutes to that one, 10 minutes to that one. And that was also wrong, but a week is crazy. So anyway, they've realized this Ether when they've seen that the price has dropped so low. And they've said, look, we're going to be dropping the collection size from 10,000 to 5,555 because of current market conditions. But what else is interesting here, if you look at their Twitter, is their last tweet, the 2nd of July, which is very telling because today is the 8th of July and their remaining supply is supposed to go on sale on the 9th of July, which is tomorrow. And you've literally had no activity at all for the last 7 days when they should have had the most or the last 6 days where they should be having the most activity. And if they think keeping their floor price just nothing, if they think just keeping their floor price just above mint is going to be enough to incentivize people to mint, they are very, very wrong. And remember, their whitelist mint was 0.3 something ETH. So that was another crazy thing, is they gave such a benefit to the whitelisters that naturally a lot of those people feel, look, I can 2x in a very bad market. And they have now had to fuel that 2xing. So everyone who minted at 0.35 is more than happy to sell at 0.5, knowing that the team has to keep it over 0.65 for longer than a week. Because the public mint is 0.65. Yeah. What they should have done is kept the collection size at 10,000 and said the mint price for everyone is going to be 0.35. Because then they wouldn't have had to artificially prop up the floor price, which they're still going to have to continue to do, buying everyone's bags who whitelisted. and they could leave it naturally and let it get to 0.4, 0.45, and they'd have a much better chance of selling out because naturally the floor would hold above mint price substantially enough for people to want a mint. Because if I see a mint at 0.35 and the floor is 0.45, I'm happy to mint if I want to flip it, because to make 0.1 is great, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so a lot of mistakes have happened here. And I think the inactivity speaks volumes. And I think they're in a lot of trouble with this mint that's happening tomorrow. I think it's really going to be an issue for them.
Yeah. Well, so if you look at my shared screen, I just interviewed OG, who's you've probably seen him on your timeline, guys. He's been interviewing like basically everyone. He's really good on Twitter. Pretty funny, nice guy. And he's like 21 years old. He's just high energy. And he's like he loves Ether. He's like been all about them. I think he's even got them in his bio and stuff. Like he just likes the team. He met them all. So he's a big proponent of Ether. So I asked him a couple things about it. He's not too worried about it. But he's also, I mean, he's for sure biased. However, I did not know that they've been literally inactive for like a week. That is very interesting. And I didn't know that I didn't know we were still waiting on the public. I thought that had already happened. Like I thought it was like right after this interview, I thought the mint was happening. And I just didn't expect us to still be not knowing. I don't know. 10 days is crazy, bro.
No, so I think it was about 7 days. So it's been 6 days. So yeah, it's a week. But it doesn't matter. Even 2 days is crazy. You go a couple of hours is what you got max. Yeah. I think they made a big mistake over here for sure. And I think they've made an even bigger mistake by cutting the supply instead of cutting the price. And they're getting a lot of FUD for it. So that's that. And just to have a little bit more of a look into the Yuga floor price in general, because we did dip under 30 for the first time since 2021. We're now sitting at 34.49. So there's been a recovery over there. But more important than the actual pictures, and we can have a quick look, Kate, if we were going to buy one. I just want to show you this. So you asked where did we go to? So here you can see the low was 27.7. Or 27.4, sorry.
Wait, so they did touch the 20s?
Yeah. You said, did they get to 20? I said, no, they got under 20, high 20s.
Oh, okay.
But they got under 30.
Hit 20 then, bro.
Yeah.
Dang, I thought they didn't even hit the 20s. I thought they hit the 30s.
No. They hit no. They currently at 34. They hit the 20s, but the high 20s. Yeah, they didn't hit low 20s, and they're now back at 36. So that's what's been happening. I said it to you, Kate, a long time ago, that if Bored Apes end up going to zero, I think in general NFTs are dead, in a lot of trouble. And we had a whole conversation. We don't need to repeat that conversation. But there's no doubt that as these drop sharply, it does spread to the whole market. And we did see that a week ago. When these went under 30, everything dropped 10 to 15%, everything across the board, including your pudgy penguins, including everything dropped, and people freaked the F out.
Yeah.
So now they're above there.
Yeah, I would say it would be very, very deflating for the NFT PFP consumer, like the Twitter heavy spaces people. That would be a tough fucking time. I don't know if they would recover either. But I also, honestly, bro, I'm not sure how important that side of NFTs is either. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's certain communities and certain companies that are going to keep building regardless that don't really need NFT Twitter. It's just tough.
Not just NFT Twitter.
Runway they have. They need like a 10-year runway to not need consumers like money from. They just need to be able to build for that long. And if they can, then they don't need the market. But yeah, I don't know. Anyways.
Look, Yuga is about 50% of the NFT market, their ecosystem. So Bored Apes, CryptoPunks, and Meebits. So they are a barometer. This looks very similar to the Bored Ape that I had, but I had a white-haired one, and I had no cigarette, and my eyes weren't the stoned eyes. So let me show you what my guy was. I had the same shirt and a very similar facial expression. Very similar. So this was my guy over here.
So clean.
It's beautiful, hey, the white hair.
Yeah.
But can you see the facial expression is identical as well, and the eyes are droopy, but they weren't red. But so the only difference was the eyes are goofed in the one, and the white hair on mine, and the little cigarette, which at the time I would have loved the cigarette because I was a smoker, you know.
That's true.
Yeah, man. And then once we're commemorating, this was my mutant. I mean, this is a good looking mutant.
Bro, that one's ugly.
Are you joking, Kate? I'll come over there and I'll fucking kill you. Look at the hairs, beautiful, the half grin,
Bro.
the glasses.
How much you buy that for again?
Such a unique one. I paid 4 Ethereum.
And you sold it for how much?
I sold it for 25 Ethereum just after other deed when I claimed my lands. Literally. Yeah. It was one of my best trades. Except for my Bored Ape, which I 2x'd.
Yeah.
I bought for $80,000 and I sold for
That was insane.
$160,000.
How long did you hold it for again?
A month.
Bro, you made a year's worth salary in a month.
ETH was $1,000 at the time, and I paid 80 ETH for it or something like that, and I got an offer for $160,000.
Insane.
And I sold it.
How rare? How rare is that? How common is that, you think, for that to happen?
I don't know.
In Bored Apes.
I bought it at the right time, Kate. I really was watching it for so long, and it felt like I wanted to buy it. I had the crypto sitting there ready. And it just felt like the right time. I think that's very rare. I loved my Bored Ape. I rebranded the whole show around it. I never intended on selling it. But to be able to make that sort of money in a month, I just couldn't say no. I just kept thinking how many pens I need to sell at Perkel in order to make that sort of money. But I just want to explain very carefully to anyone who doesn't know my other trades. I've lost on a lot of trades as well. So just understand very, very carefully that I've bought the top of a lot of NFT projects. I paid for, I mean, I'm just thinking what my worst ones were. Jesus, I bought it. I mean, yeah, I don't even know which one to start with. I bought a doodle at too much, much too much. There were a lot that I lost on as well. So I mean, overall, and when I bought in most of my NFTs, ETH was $4,000, $3,500. So I was putting money in at that rate. If I have to work it out, I'm probably slightly, maybe 5% up out of everything.
Even with the Bored Ape flip?
Yeah. Yeah. Because I sold my ETH when ETH was $2,000. Whereas I just bought my ETH when it was $3,500 to $4,000. So just that was a 50% drop in everything. And I had hundreds and hundreds of Ethereum invested in NFTs. So I think I just sort of a little bit up. But that doesn't include the work I did in the space where I got paid and I cashed out. And overall from the space I'm up, but just my trading. So that's why I said to you, I'd say to you, most guys are down, because if I'm down with those trades that I made, those good trades that I made. Also remember I had that wallet hack where that Clone X was stolen from me when Clone X was 10 ETH. That's 10 ETH gone.
Yeah.
There were a couple of those.
True. I mean, I was at the end of I think I did one of those things too, and I was not down. I was slightly up, but that's because like I would have been more up, but I held a bunch of assets that I bought like at whatever price because I was never gonna sell them. So technically that money's invested, and I think it's counted as like what's it called? Like an unmarked loss or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But as far as trading stuff, like I didn't do too much trading, but I actually did decent on the trading side of it. But honestly, bro, like most of the NFTs, the only reason I'm down on a lot of NFTs is because I just bought it with never intent to sell. I just bought them at a few $1,000s. Like I bought probably $10,000 worth of art at one point that I still have. They're just sitting in my wallet, and I'm fine to hold them. But that's like $10,000 invested that I didn't get out. And then there's probably like another few $1,000s worth of PFPs that are just sitting in a wallet that I bought to support just to be there, that are also just sitting there. And that's just like thousands and thousands of dollars just sitting there that I technically lost, I guess. So
I bought Cool Cats near the top. I bought Wood of Women near the top. I'm just looking at our background. I bought Sup Ducks near the top.
Just crying, guys.
If I remove us,
all right.
I had a Marpet Hooligan there, a Sup Ducks, Cyber. World of Woman.
I don't think it's
Most of those, except for the two
Oh.
apes, mutant and boards. Most of them I lost on.
Damn.
Anyway,
Damn.
you ready to go?
Mm-hmm.
Coca-Cola is launching something on Solana with Blockworks. So this is specifically for a concert that's happening in Serbia. And they've chosen the Solana blockchain. They're working with SolC, and
Yeah, I know the team is
they
over there. The team of
allowing
Celsius
the
over there.
soda company to give away 100 limited edition hoodies along with NFTs. I like when it's a small supply like
Yeah.
that. So the protocol there is all .art, and it's just always nice to see people using this in different ways, like the NFT technology. And it's for this festival that's a yearly event in Serbia. You're going to have big names there like Alesso, Dimitri Vegas, like Mike, Eric Prides, and guys like that. Yeah, man, I think it's bullish. I like to see it.
This is the only way they should be used, bro. These type of things. Like they did this with the World Women Barcelona NFT. It's just the extra component to an already cool collectible. That's all this is. I think that's the way forward, bro. You might as well. Like, if you're already going to get the limited edition hoodie, how are you going to prove it's real? Well, you have the NFT, and the NFT attaches all the way back to the main collection. I got a couple people on TikTok saying, like, well, what if you just, like, skip that part and just, like, went and got, like, all this legal stuff? And I was like, okay, you could do all that, or you could just buy their NFT. It's just the simplest answer. It's the easiest one. It's the simplest. There's no way to fake it. Why not? And they've already done it. There's been thousands of case studies already where it's worked. We just saw one last week with World Women Barcelona, sold for $300,000. If there's a collectible that people want, and you're already going to make the sale, why not throw an NFT in there and see what can happen?
And then I also think it should be, look, if you are those, especially when it's so small, if you are those 100 holders, you get future benefits. Like the next festival, you'll get a reduced price on the tickets, or you'll be able to claim something else, so that there's some ongoing value to it that you don't usually have with usual ticketing systems. So not only do you get the in real life hoodie from it and the corresponding NFT that proves the validity of it, but that NFT also provides you with some sort of benefit going forward, and some sort of future sort of membership that you can use, right? So that it maintains that sort of value, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen Solsi pop up in a while. I actually was going to be working with them a little bit back in the bull run. I was talking about them with Espo Visuals. If you guys remember, in the OG days in 2021 with Sydney, we were both like pretty heavy in NFT art, and I was thinking about doing some stuff on Solsi, and so we were talking with the team about doing something potentially together, and then it kind of just fell through. But I haven't seen them in a while, so nice to see it's nice to see that they're still here, putting in work and collaborating with Coca-Cola. So that's pretty fucking awesome.
It is. And I mean, again, hats off to Coca-Cola for sort of embracing the technology.
Yeah.
We've seen the market. We do know where the value is just a PFP. I think you're going to struggle. Where you can have that PFP and also be creating an IP like Apache Penguins, or building something like a Yuga who's building an incredible gaming thing, or whatever, when you're able to join that NFT and marry that NFT to other things, that's where you got the winners. It's not enough, it's not a novelty anymore just to launch an NFT collection, right? You can't win by just having an NFT collection. You've got to actually be building something, and the NFT is just a part of that, right? A part of that marketing mix.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's where we are, guys. I don't know if anyone's got any questions. We always have a Q&A session at the end. If you are on Twitter Spaces, feel free to either raise your hand or feel free to write it if you don't want to talk. I'm happy to talk to anyone. We'll give it a Kate and I will continue talking for a couple of minutes. If no one
if you guys are on Spaces, just throw a hand up if you guys want to come up. If not, that's totally cool.
So yeah, I mean, a good point here. 100% was the reason. Machi, a big whale, and that's what I was talking about earlier, saying a whale can completely throw you out. Machi decided to sell all his apes. That definitely made it drop. People then started panicking. Again, a good time to buy the dip if you were a trader. but it takes a lot of balls to bite when it feels like it's going to continue dropping, you
Yeah.
know, and it does feel that way. And people do start to panic. They've got a lot of money, you know, $50,000, $60,000 wrapped up in this thing, and it's dropping like a fly. It's dropping like it's hot. You think, okay, maybe I cut my losses. Maybe I just get out of it now, you know. It's the same as trading crypto, but NFTs are illiquid, yeah. So it's harder to get in and out when you want to, you know. Okay, I'm just trying to see. My eyes are not as good as Kate's. What's going on here, Kate? What's it say?
It's the new app. You heard of it?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Threads?
so we can talk about that. That's an interesting thing to talk about.
You on Threads, Philip?
I am. So all I did was I connected my Instagram, Pikalinko, and just to claim the name, and that's all I've done. I'm waiting to see whether it's just hype or whether it turns into something.
This is the time to get in. I learned this
I'm in.
last time. We did this last time. We did this with TikTok last time. I signed up too late and I missed the initial growth phase where you can immediately get a few hundred followers just because everyone's joining right now. So I joined and did nothing and gained 200 followers. I didn't even tell anyone that I was on yet, and I got 200. Now I'm at 400 something, like 400 or 500. And all I've done is basically take my best tweet of the day and put it on Threads. That's all I did. I just copy and pasted it, throw it on Threads. I try, if it's maybe a little bit more motivated to write a thread, like an actual text thread, which it's great because it's practice for me to work on LinkedIn a little bit, because that's the way they fucking like to do social media over there on that weird ass social media app. But it's gotten me a little bit more motivated to do that and script, because then I can take that script and film a video. And then I can post that onto Twitter and Instagram and Reels and stuff like that. So I'm trying to figure out ways that can help me, because right now I don't need another app to focus on, but it's so similar to Twitter in that it is basically just, I made a thread on this on Thread, actually. I just posted it there. Find me on there. It's K.Bergman. But I made a thread and it was basically like, what's the difference? Instagram and Twitter combined. It's Twitter's audience on Instagram's platform. That's pretty much what it is. It looks like Facebook, right? It looks like a Facebook, Twitter had sex kind of thing, but it's your Instagram and Twitter audiences coming together, which I like. It's cool. Engagement farming still works. It's not specifically as like, for example, you can do the whole, would you quit Web3 or would you quit your job to work in Web3 for $10,000 a month? Like, that still works on any platform pretty much, because it makes people get pissed off and stuff and be like, no, bro, that's not enough money, or that's a fucking scam, and people get mad. So it works everywhere. It's just not as much of an echo room as Twitter, because it's not just Twitter's people sucking.
Okay, first of all, please can you give Crypto Dream Space's ability to talk, because he says he can't raise his hand.
He's not in Spaces right now. Oh, here he is. He's back.
Okay, just to give
send me a thing. Here, I'll send you an
invite.
Can
you send him an invite to speak? Right. But Kate, what is the long-term thesis on Threads? Because now it's novelty, it's a new shiny thing, whatever. Also, there's no adverts currently on it. So if you're on Twitter now, yeah, every couple of things are ads and whatever. If you're on any platform, you've got to deal with that crap, which is very irritating. At the moment, there's none of that. And also, everyone's excited to be there because it's new. But, you know, when it becomes another social, is it going to become something, in your opinion? Obviously, you don't know for sure, but
it's an extension of Instagram, bro. It's an extension. It's a different app, but it's an extension of Instagram, and it's basically doing the exact same thing. And it's funny because, like, people, I've seen both sides of the aisle. Some people are like, it's never going to work. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's literally successfully done it like 5 times in the last 5 years. Like, he did it with Facebook. Facebook Reels are popping. They are. Facebook fan pages are back. So it worked on Facebook. Instagram copied Snapchat stories. It worked. Instagram stories are probably the biggest thing ever. Facebook also copied it. Facebook stories are crushing it now. They copied TikTok, obviously, with Instagram Reels. Instagram has become a video app completely. And that was like a joke a year or two ago. That'll never happen. Instagram's a picture. No, it's 100% a video platform now. It worked again. And he does the same thing with Twitter because he sees a huge hole in the market. He says, you know what? Elon did this thinking he's so good at this game. This is my world. I'm Mark Zuckerberg. I created social media. I am the grandfather of social media. You think you can run this shit better than me? I'm gonna make a platform that does everything you suck at, except I'm gonna keep it censored, and we'll see if it works. And that's why I think it's not gonna work.
Okay, that had a very surprising ending. He created Facebook, 100%. The rest he acquired. He acquired Instagram. He acquired WhatsApp.
He knows what's going to take and win, so he adopts it.
Okay, but if you're able to build it yourself, why spend? At the time, WhatsApp was 100 billion or something stupid. Was 1 billion, I don't know, 10 billion or something. Even thought he was mad. Ended up not being so mad. But if you can do it yourself, why do that? He already had the audience. So he's only built Facebook, and Facebook is dying. He's been trying to revive Facebook. He has failed in doing that. He's tried to make it into a VR company building products with their headsets. He's completely failed at doing that.
That's like Elon trying to do social media, right?
Exactly, fine. But all he's done is Facebook, which is now pretty much dying or dead. To be quite honest, it's my generation. My generation like Facebook. We are getting older. My mother likes Facebook. She's getting older. So he wanted the metaverse side. Lost hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. He's in big trouble, and this is what he's trying. I don't know if it's got long-term sustainability.
Here's what I think. I think Facebook turned into Instagram. So I think he's trying to get as many people from Facebook to Instagram. And he's doing the exact same thing with Instagram to Threads. He's trying to get as many people from Instagram and Twitter to Threads. And the reason I know that is because the onboarding process to go from Instagram to Threads was
you need to have an Instagram account. In my life.
It was suspiciously easy to get Threads. I was like, wow, I can see why 35 million people signed up in 48 hours. 1 million people per hour, basically. Unbelievable rate. Right. And it's not bad. Like the UI is good. The notifications are great. It's like a huge dopamine. Every time you anything happens, you get a new notification. It's laid out the right way. It's fucking probably a little bit like weird because I feel like Zuckerberg's intentions are pure and that he wants to create connection, but the only way to do it is to play the game of attention, which is the opposite of that. It's like, how can I get people to be so distracted and so hooked and addicted to our dopamine hits every 4 seconds in this notification app that we get people to be on the app because we want them to connect. The thing is, we're not connecting on the app. So like the thesis is like wrong. And so like with Mark, it's tough for me to support him because I'm like, bro, I know that, like, I know what you're trying to do. And I know that like that's your vision, but like, I don't think as humans we're like ready for that type of thing. Like his vision, I think is 20 years too early. Like what he wants is the metaverse where it's actually engaging. And I think that's when he's going to flourish. I think right now he created the framework and was like, shit, like this is not really connection, but this is what I want to make. And this is as good as we're going to get. And then it turns to this fucking horrible wheel of social media addicted dopamine mice running around trying to catch the next high. And it's tough, bro, because it's not anything special. It's not anything different. It's not anything good. It's just another social media app that he's trying to squeeze everything out of Instagram and get them all to jump into Threads so he can redo the exact same thing.
Look, he's got his biggest asset is his users across the different platforms.
100%.
I agree with that. But then do something innovative. I know he's trying with the metaverse, and I agree. And I'm the one who said to you that this if he can pull off what Facebook used to be, which was, really early. There was MySpace before Facebook, and then Facebook. So Facebook was the second social media app where it wasn't about anything else except for seeing your friends that lived in different countries, and like a friend had a baby, seeing pictures of that and being a part of it. It really was beautiful like that. It really was. It was innocent social media. I mean, do you know, Bianca and I, that's where we started really getting to know each other, was on Facebook. Yeah. So that was our platform. So Bianca had known me through a friend of ours, a mutual friend. I'd never known her, but she had known me. And she sent me a message on Facebook and said, "Hi, Philip. I don't know if you remember me, but I was there when we watched the World Cup at this restaurant, and you were there." And then we started talking, and we spoke for 9 months on Facebook, typing to each other on Facebook before we even had our first date. That I knew almost everything about her because we would write these long letters to each other, but it was instant instead of having a pen pal or whatever. So, I mean, look, Facebook for me will always be close to my heart. I take my hat off to Mark for trying to take it to the next generation with the metaverse. However, to use Instagram's followers and his followers for another Twitter, it seems like a waste. I would so rather it be something new and different.
Bro, we don't have anything left. There's nothing after video. The next thing after video is AR and metaverse. Like, that's the only thing after video. There's nothing left, bro. There's nothing else. There's no other sense that we can tap into except immersion. So I think the only thing you can do is continue building quests, continue working in VR and investing and copying everyone else that's winning over him and doing that game for a while until we as humans have had enough products and inventions that work, that don't suck, where we're like, damn, I cannot wait for that. And it's also affordable enough for me to get, just like the new iPhone I was going to get. Instead, we're going to do this. And we start to shift away from the phone, I think. We start to shift to like a watch or like a hologram thing or something that pops up and it's a little bit more immersive, or glasses. Whatever it is, I think that's the only step forward that makes sense that isn't just another copy of something we haven't already seen. We haven't seen anything new, bro.
So I think, I think the bottom line, let's just call a spade a spade. Meta, or Facebook, or whatever you want to call them, they are a company. They're a publicly traded company, and they have a responsibility to return profits to investors. That's the definition of what they do. They are a business. They are seeing an opportunity that Elon and Twitter have isolated themselves to certain advertisers because of their viewpoint on having an open platform. So by allowing people to say whatever they want to say, certain companies are no longer willing to spend big advertising money that they were spending on Twitter anymore. And Facebook is very cleverly seeing this as an opportunity to monetize on that by saying, look, here's a clean canvas. You know, here, advertisers, this should be better for you because we're going to censor the shit out of it. So if someone's talking something that you don't like, being Procter and Gamble or Johnson and Johnson or whatever your company is, it's not going to be on our platform. You're going to feel happy to advertise. And I think that's what it is. I think it's and you can't blame the guy. Look, he's a public traded company. He has to make money for his investors. That's what his job is.
That's true. I think, honestly, it feels like the NFT space on a bigger scale. A bunch of people trying to market a thing that we're not sure like what everyone wants. Everyone's kind of pissed all the time a little bit. 30% of the people are happy. 70% of the people are mad. We're making something that's not quite what people want yet. It doesn't quite make sense. We're trying to convince people. Mark Zuckerberg.
But it's not going to work long term. It's not going to work long term. It's not going to work long term.
Mark's endeavor with Threads?
Yeah, I'll tell you, it won't. Just because they've got a user base doesn't mean it's going to work. I don't know if you remember, but Google tried to launch their own sort of spaces type thing. Google Place, I don't know what they called it, and they ended up closing it after a couple of years. And they Google. They've got a incredible. People go onto their website every day, and they weren't able to pull it off. So just because you've got that user base, I think you've got to be careful about abusing that user base. Like, you don't want to use them too often because then they just get desensitized to when you throw offers out at them. So long term, you might lose equity in the Instagram people's minds, but short term, there's no doubt that he's going to get some advertisers signing up, and they're going to make millions and millions and tens of millions and hundreds of millions of dollars on this thing. But then when people start to get the actual users that make advertisers want to pay money because people are on it, when that starts to dwindle, then advertising money starts to dwindle and it all falls away. But he still will have made hundreds of millions from it, right?
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
I think we've got lots of interesting comments and it's Q&A, so let's talk about it. We've got Crypto Dream saying MySpace should have stomped Facebook. So this is a very interesting conversation, and Threads was thanks Crypto Dream for bringing it up, Threads to begin with. But first mover advantage, and is that really an advantage? And the first company that makes something innovative, they always end up getting screwed. So they spend all the money in designing it and coming up with the concept and really making sure it works. And the next 1, 2, or 3 to come in have got very little work to do because they've already got the blueprint of exactly what to do. And they just copy it and come in. And that was typically exactly what happened. Yeah. MySpace was the first Facebook. Facebook came in, it was polished, it did MySpace better. And it was just at the right time that it was able to do it. And we've seen the same thing with Nokia with cell phones, then BlackBerry, and then iPhone. So just because we have Apple currently and Samsung as the top iPhone people, that don't think that they're always going to be that. That changes and will continue to change. So, Crypto Dream, it is sad when the first mover gets taken over by the people that come next. It is sad, but that is often what happens. And yes, you get that initial advantage that you can charge almost whatever you want because you're the only one. But then people copy, and all the research and development you had to spend and do is out the window because you've done that, and people just improve on what you've done. And he says, yeah, the US government's trying to keep control of social media and seems to have a greater hold on Meta than Twitter. Well, that's for sure. That's why Elon bought Twitter, to stop the government from having it. And yes, we do know that Zuckerberg censors things for sure, which we don't. Yeah,
he's gone on Rogan and even said that. He's like, yeah, we had literally tampered with very, very intense legal things because we were told to by FBI. I was like, yeah, well, damn.
Well, there's an admission for you.
Still posting photos more text. Yeah, that's the thing, bro. It's not so much about making sure your audience is happy. It's just giving them some kind of benefit. There needs to be a benefit for you moving over here. TikTok's got that benefit of virality, possibility to always go viral. Instagram Reels now has that, not as much, and that's why it hasn't rose to the same prominence as TikTok. But it's doing well, but because there's like the opportunities there on Instagram specifically. But until there's like a real reason to go and a real incentive that actually rewards people and enough common people for it to actually take, yeah, it doesn't matter. Like if Threads doesn't have some type of true motivational push for a reason to use this, people are just going to stay on Instagram. Yeah, they'll test out Threads.
Yeah, we don't need another social media platform. Let's just be a quarter space back.
Yeah, and Gary didn't go heavy on it either, meaning he thinks it's either too early or he's not sure, which means it's not a full on fuck yeah. Which for me, I'm like, okay, if Gary's not saying fuck yeah, that means it's too early or it's not the move. Because that man's really got his finger on the pulse for that kind of thing.
But I think guys like us Web3 native guys are very anti-censorship. That's what crypto is. If you think of the nature of cryptocurrency, what are we saying? I want to custody my own money. I want it to be decentralized. I don't want to be under the thumb of a government. I want to be able to do this myself. I don't trust. That's what crypto is. And by extension, that's what NFTs are, whether people realize it or not. The guys who just like a picture of a Bored Ape, they're coming in, they don't realize what this is about. So naturally, guys like us, and Elon is one of us. I mean, he is Dogecoin and meme and all of that, right? Guys like us are so pro Twitter now that it is not under the guise of any political agenda or anything to that effect now that Elon has taken over. We are not interested in anything else, right? So that's what I think is his viewpoint, is Gary V. He very much is Web3 native. And I think he doesn't want to be on a platform that he knows is being funded by this party or that party where they are holding back certain comments. And, it's like Elon's always said, where do you hide a dead body? On the second page of Google, right? Yeah. And he's saying if you just tweak the algorithm slightly, that everyone's seeing slightly more Democrats posts than Republicans or the other way around, you have huge power to change things and the outcome of things. And that's part of why Elon wanted to buy Twitter, right? He's openly said it. So guys who understand that and understand that, government's just printing money for themselves, are just trying to enrich themselves, like we all know, you don't want to be with a sort of CNN type organization like Facebook. And I think that might be why Gary Vee wouldn't be on there.
On a more individual level too, the reason I'm on Threads is because there's a chance that someone sees me that wouldn't see me on Twitter. I just connected with Zeneca on Threads. So that would never happen on Twitter. But he posted a thread, 4 people liked it, and I said, great, let me slide in real quick and mention the fact that we met at VCon, and it was a great pleasure to meet him, and he'll probably see this comment, and he did, and he followed me immediately, and I was like, that's why you're on Threads on day one.
Hold on. Let me ask you 2 questions. Just a yes or no. Did he follow you on Threads? Mm-hmm. Did he follow you anywhere else?
I don't know. I actually, I don't know.
No, you would know. I know you well enough. You would know.
No, I don't check. Like I'm not. Zach is not one of those people for me. I just recognized him.
Okay, but what I'm saying is that people are all new here. Oh, let me follow you. It does that translate to a real follow out? So when Threads is not a thing in 6 months to a year to 2 years, does that follow even matter anymore? No.
Here's what I'll say. If it wouldn't matter for most things, but the fact that he read it and was like, oh, I met this person and my profile picture is so apparently me, I think in certain cases it can.
So,
You might
so,
see me on
so
Twitter
you can
later.
follow
Oh, I
up.
recognize that face.
But follow up on that platform now that there is that
Oh, yeah.
connection.
Good
Don't
call.
wait. So I would go onto Threads, and I don't know if you can DM. I'm sure you can, and DM him and say, "Go, here's a link to all my socials. Let's connect. I'd love to connect with you properly on Twitter or whatever, so that you can get him there." That's what you got to capitalize on it straight away.
Dude, honestly, what's interesting with Zeneca is that I'm surprised he has not gone through some level of cancellation. He was very involved in Blur, and everyone hates Blur right now. And I'm surprised because he's still NFT's poster child. People love Zeneca because he's such an OG. I'm surprised no one has come after him. I'm not saying we should. I'm just surprised that it hasn't happened because he's got 300,000 followers. He's a very obvious person to go after. It's surprising that all this fun about Pac-Man and like no one has been like, yo, Zeneca, what the fuck, bro? Like, I'm surprised it hasn't happened because I don't know his role, but I know he was involved. And now people are pissed off. Now they hate Blur because of now where we're at. 4 months ago, everyone was happy, but now everyone's pissed off. So I'm surprised it hasn't been canceled.
Look, everyone's always gonna look left and right to blame everywhere, and there's no introspecting. There's no looking forward.
Just blame Farouk. Can we just agree? We're just gonna blame Farouk.
It's Farouk's hair has pissed a lot of people off. That's the reason my floor price of my bags is down. Everyone's going to blame everyone. The bottom line is that anyone who took an objective look about 6 months ago would say this is not sustainable. These floor price, even like we're saying now, $60,000 for PFP is not sustainable. Bottom line, if you just take a look out and say the average person who could buy, I don't know, in America, what you can get for $60,000, you could get a small house, right? Semi-decent house.
You could probably buy like a Ford Raptor.
Okay. Would you rather have that or a picture of an ape that maybe 1 million people might recognize as being part of an ecosystem? Probably a lot less than that.
I'll take a Ford Raptor for almost anything.
I'd take a house over a Ford Raptor.
If I had a secured apartment in the city and a parking spot, I would still take the Ford Raptor.
Yeah, but if you don't yet have an apartment, you take the apartment.
Then yeah,
right?
for sure, would take a home over a car. Yeah.
But
a Ford Raptor, bro, that's not exactly a car. That's like kind of like the biggest deal.
We all understand that a car for you is a home because you could
Tesla, whatever that fucking huge one is, the big Tesla car thing.
That truck that the windows break
no
matter what
you or a big Tesla robot thing.
Cade, definitely a small home. We do know that you're the type of guy who can live in your car. Most of us can't. Most of us aren't happy living in our car. We want to live in a house. So for you see that Tesla thing and you're like, it's a car and it's a house. But for
and clickbait. Bro, and a way to get attention. It's like an easy conversation starter. It's a lot of benefits.
I agree with you. I agree with you with everything except it's not a home. But for you, I understand it could be. But I mean, imagine if I take Bianca and the children. I'm like, guys, look, we've sold the house, but bro, look, this is our new house,
vision, bro.
Hey,
they just don't see your vision.
Well, listen, I think it's a great place to end it. Thank you guys for joining us. It's always a pleasure. Again, Cade, happy birthday to you, my friend. You're filled with all of God's blessings and everything you could ever wish for yourself. Only good things.
Can I leave a message then? I tweeted this yesterday. I said, I'm turning 25 today. I want to leave one message. It's an important message for everyone who is on the grind right now, including me. Well, probably including most people, unless you're like, got like 11 figures or something. It's that one day they'll realize one sec. One day
there goes a Tesla van.
Yeah, I know. My dream car. One day they'll realize they let go of a diamond to play with rocks. And that's a powerful quote because most people will put the diamond down right before that pressure builds and it becomes that if you really hit it, you give up right before so you can go and be like everyone else. I did that for a long time. I will share a quick story. I got in the best shape ever, and I looked different than the average person because I was genuinely like in that good of shape, and it was uncomfortable enough that I actually went out of my way to get in less shape so I could fit in with normal people at the beach, because I was like, I don't like that I look objectively more, visually appealing maybe in some people's aspects. I don't like that feeling. I want to be normal. And I had that.
I
It was
did the
weird. I
same.
had
I
that
did the same thing.
mindset for a couple years of like, let me get myself back to normal so that I look normal. And then I was like, wait, why would I ever do that? That's literally what? But it was something that took me like years of me being, even when I was self-aware, I was unaware. And like, that's why I wanted to bring Tempest attention, because I had this like 4 or 5 month bender of watching the same type of idols that were all, I'm not gonna lie, they're probably more conservative, like a lot of Jordan Peterson, those kind of people who are just kind of like, bro, shut the fuck up and do your shit. Shut the fuck up and do your shit. And I kept hearing that type of message, and basically like giving me the other side of the argument that I wasn't seeing for a while. I was seeing so much of this type of content, this type of message, and to see the other side for a while just like brought back another side of me. And I was like, yo, I forgot about Vintage Kate. He disappeared about 8 months ago. He got burned out. He went through a bunch of shit. He kind of disappeared for a while. He wasn't putting in the work. He wasn't respecting himself. And a switch just flipped. And that turned into me running a half marathon yesterday kind of thing. Like it just is possible. Like you just can do the thing. I just ran 14 miles with no training. I just did. I have never ran more than 6 miles. And that was something I trained for. I was a college athlete. Like I was running that much for soccer and stuff, but I've never done anything like that. And I just did it out of the blue. And I went through a bunch of fucking mental things, especially the last 4 miles of that run. But it's just one of those things, like if you just decide to do it and you choose to do it and you decide to earn your keep every day. There's some quote that I saw a long time ago, and it said something is either your respect or your hustle is rented, it's leased. I think it was your respect is leased and you have to earn it every single day. And that's like the respect for yourself as a man. Like every day you can do something, and then the one day you don't, you can sit there and be like, damn, bro, I really gave in that time. Like I really did that. And I think the more times that you can choose not to and choose to be great, eventually, bro, you have 150 out of 300 days of being great. That's way better than last year of only having 30 days of being great. Next thing you know, you're great 300 out of 365 days a year. You're a superhuman, and it's just one of those things that like that type of growth is possible, but it's one of those things that you have to decide every single day, and it feels exhausting. But until you flip the script of I want to be that person who wakes up every day and does all those things, and that person, the only difference between me and that person is that person suffered through the thing I don't want to do, then the thing becomes, oh, so I want to be the person that suffers because that leads to the person that I'm trying to be. And that switch, as soon as that happened for me, every single excuse actually turned into smoke. Every time I woke up and I didn't want to wake up, I just got up because I was like, wait, no, I want to be someone who gets up though. The only difference between me and someone who gets up is I have to get up. And that for some reason, that mental switch with the right type of people around me that I'm watching, it changed me in a really good way. And that's why I've started to make a bunch of that content, because I'm like, holy shit, I need to wake up. And I know there's people that right now that are like kind of almost right there. They're like, there's something missing. There's something missing up here that'll get me to understand why I'm not getting things done. And I want to help contribute to that movement. So that's what I dedicated this 25th year of my life to. Because if I dedicate myself to that, and in 3 years, 300 of my 365 days are being great, then I will have effectively changed my destiny. And I think a lot of people can do that. And that's what all of the Joy Age is about, baby. Let's fucking go.
I think, first of all, I love your take on things. I love this new Cade, and I think it's great. I think that a lot of people, including myself, are guilty of being very hard on ourselves. So you could go through a day and do 9 things right, but you do one thing wrong, and when you're falling asleep at night, that's what you are thinking about, and that's what defines you. That in your mind, to you. And a lot of this and it doesn't change as you get older. You're constantly working on yourself. A lot of issues and a lot of things that we're all going through are the inner voice inside of us, the narrative that we tell ourselves, the things that we speak to ourselves, the way we speak to ourselves. And I think the average good person, I mean, if your bad is that you murdered someone that day, then all the good falls away and you're bad. But the average person, I think we've got to be kinder to ourselves. I really and truly do. The average good person who's out there working hard with good intention and trying, we got to be kinder to ourselves. I'm talking to myself as much as anyone else. We really do. And I'm not saying take your foot off the pedal of the car. I'm not saying don't give it 110%. I'm not saying that. I'm the complete opposite. Give it 110% every single day, so that no matter what happens, you can say, I tried my best. because then no matter what, if you end up homeless or if you end up in a mansion, you can honestly look yourself in the mirror and say, I tried my best. And if you can do that, then it doesn't matter where you end up, because you know that you tried your best and this is your destiny, because you can't do more than legitimately your best, which is 12, 15 hours a day, every day, doing the best thing you can with the best opportunities. So I'm saying, if you are doing your best every day and you are putting your best foot forward and you really try not and be less hard on yourself with the one or two things, yes, use them to learn for the next day, but don't let those things define you. Let the 9 out of 10 things define you. And I think that that's important. I see Crypto Dream says, why did I delete the tweet? I'm not sure what tweet he means. There was one that I saw today that was really nice, that the only thing that matters, the tweet was of the effect of the only thing that matters is memorable good things like time with your family and things like that. Memories is what you take with you when you lie. The only reason I deleted that Crypto Dream was I retweeted it yesterday and I saw that it pushed down today's YouTube video, that it wasn't at the top of my thing, and I just wanted only that there so people would see it. But I actually
just retweet your.
Yeah, I must go find it. But I randomly came across it. But so not even someone I was following. Someone I was following retweeted.
No, retweet your video stream. It'll pop up at the top.
Next time. Okay.
But also,
okay, you.
I was going to say
the other thing.
Sorry, go ahead.
And he said, and then I also want to say, I want you to say, and then I want to say as well, who's Shelly? So Shelly was the lady. So Cade posted a thing. I've been watching a lot of Cade's content lately. Cade posted a thing that he was sort of followed by this lady, and this lady scared him, and lucky he could run faster than her. And he was being very serious. He was like freaked out by this lady, and she couldn't keep up, and he was able to outrun her. So then I said as a joke, Shelly, that was Shelly. She was a lady I sent to give you your birthday present. Nice. It was just a joke, Crypto Dream. I'm not sure if you realized. Yeah, bro, that was funny. What did you want to say, Kate?
Well, first off, just to acknowledge that point, so that video is referring to is I made a video because I was like, yo, I was walking home and some lady started following me. It was very obvious. And so I just started walking faster. And I was like, wait, I'm way fitter than you. You will not catch me. You will not catch me, bro. Sorry. And I started walking uphill and she literally had to stop and catch her breath. And I was like, I'm too fit. I'm literally too fit. And that's when I made a video. I was like, you need to be more fit. Because like, what if this happens?
It wasn't removed. That's still there. I only took away the other one. But I mean, Kate, you do know if she caught up to you, you could also smack her in the face if she tried to mug you or something. Just maybe. By the way, you're stronger than her.
Maybe, yeah. I probably wouldn't.
What were you so scared of? You were.
No, I wasn't so scared. The point of the video was to be like, you should be in better shape, because what if that was a man with a knife or a gun? Like, you don't know what it's going to be in what situation. She also might have had a gun, in which case it wouldn't matter what I had or didn't have. I'm fucked. I had no idea what she had.
Did she say anything to you?
No, I was too fast. She could not catch me. I walked right past her. And then she started following me. It was like this, ready?
Yeah.
Sitting here, I'm walking up the hill, and then she starts coming up.
But what sort of look? Like, did she want to talk to you, or what did she want?
She wanted something from me, bro. I don't know what she wanted, but you don't. In the city at nighttime, you don't take the chance. In the day, maybe if they want to say like, not really. You still try and just walk right past them.
What happens there? Like, what's the crime there? Take out a knife and mug you, or what are you worried about? A man, I mean, like in general, what happens there? What do you hear about on the news? No, yeah. You're saying in the city you don't take a chance. What do you hear about on the news? Muggings? What dude,
I'm just not trying to get in any kind of tussle at night. You just don't know what they have on them. Like, I don't trust what they have in their pockets. That's the only thing. Like, it doesn't matter what you have or don't have. If they pull out a gun, you're done for. You lose all your whatever you have on you.
Do they do that there?
I don't know. I'm in the city. I just assume the worst when I'm in the city at nighttime. I have a knife on me, but that's all I have. So I'm like, if I can avoid a fight, I will. I'll run, obviously. If it's like a street fight or something and someone challenges me, it's different. But if it's like let me just get home and there's some random person in an alley, then I'm like, yeah, bro, I'm going to go around this dude. I'm going to do anything I can to not interact with them because I don't know what they have. But also I was going to pour gas on the fire about what you said about treating yourself nicer. Because I remember I struggled with that for a long time because I was like, I want to treat myself nicer. I just like can't. Like I say I do, and then I like tell myself, oh, good job. I don't believe it. So like, what can I do to change that narrative in my head where it's like, I can actually feel that and actually know it. And one thing that helped was like
a gratitude.
Huh?
Oh, sorry. I thought you were really asking. Yeah,
for sure. Gratitude. Yeah. I was going to say 100% gratitude, but also like knowing that every person who is great has an opposite. There's a reason they went all the way to the extreme of the best. It's because they had such shit over here that's why they pushed all the way. Everyone in the middle who's kind of in between, that's why they stay in between. There's not enough momentum to shift you back. So anyone who's that's why like Rogan, the #1 podcast in the world, he's like, bro, I wake up and I hate myself so much that if I don't put myself to the hardest workout ever in the morning first thing, I can't do the rest of my day. I have to punish myself. I have to suffer. And you're like, that's weird. It's like, no, it's not weird. It's extreme. And that's why he's the #1. And it's kind of one of the things where if you're a man or if you're anyone, I'm not a woman, so I don't want to say as a woman, but like as a man, there's a lot of men out there, I would say, that have that feeling, but only a small percentage acknowledge it and say, oh, wait, it's supposed to be hard. The hardest people, you have to like, I want to be a hard person. If I'm a hard man, then I can actually accomplish that thing. If a hard man would do it, because a hard man's been there and he's done that. When I was on my 14-mile run yesterday, after the 4th hill, because Washington's very hilly, it wasn't like a straight run. It was a 14-mile of this. It was miserable, right? But on the 4th uphill, I had already done 3 of them. And I was like, damn, bro, I'm pretty tired. I don't know if I can do this. But then I was like, of course I can do that. I just did it 3 times. And I did it a 4th time. And then the 5th time, I said, I already did it 4 times. Of course I can do it a 5th time. I couldn't do it 4 times, I thought, but I did it all 4 times. So I am stronger than I thought. And when you start to build that, there's a reason that extreme people have extreme experiences and have done a lot of things, because that's required to get to that extreme. And so if you change that narrative and say, I want to be a hard man because a hard man is what's required to be there, then you now want to. I crave the cold shower, even though I know it's going to suck and I don't want to initially, but I want to because I want to be a person who does cold showers, because a person who does cold showers is a person who's successful and wants to do something. And when I change that narrative to be like, I want to be someone who's hard as fuck, because a person who's hard as fuck is the one who's going to go and do the thing, then I craved to do that hard thing. And I crave the morning run. I crave the sweat now. And I did not have that a few months ago. I literally avoided anything hard because I said, I want my life to be convenient though. I don't want to be hard because like I'm trying to make my life easier. If I make my life easier, I'll have so much more success. And then I did the opposite and was like, oh, wait, why do I hate myself every day if all I'm doing is easy stuff? And the answer is you can't enjoy the easy stuff without doing the work. That's what makes the easy stuff nice. You get to go enjoy it because you earned it. But if you go enjoy it because you didn't earn it, the whole time you're sitting there thinking about the fact that you didn't earn it and you've ruined your vacation now. And for men, that's their biggest issue is they can't feel satisfaction because they don't respect themselves. If you respect yourself, you would be able to enjoy it. You can enjoy reading and spending some time and not working as hard for a couple hours because you earned it.
You've got to feel like you've earned it. I do think also that people, there's someone who did a thread, a big NFT guy who lost 150 ETH worth of stuff. He was hacked. And he took 3 weeks off, and he did a thread recently, which I actually commented on today on Facebook. I commented on it to him, but he basically, I'll try to find it while I'm talking. He basically was saying that he's now grateful for that like rock bottom because
NFT
it's
God?
given him it was NFT God.
Yeah,
He posted a long tweet thread today.
He basically, guys, for anyone who doesn't know, he lost all his everything. He's a big prominent Twitter person. Lost his email list. Everything was hacked. Everything was scammed. He lost all his money, lost all his assets, and I thought it was over. And then he made the fucking comeback, bro, because he's got all the tools. The thing, if you're a hard person, you acquire the tools required to win. You still have those, even when you lose everything. So you're capable.
Yeah, so
you've done it.
I want to show this to you. I'll read it to you. It's not too long.
It's pretty fucking long, bro.
Okay, I'm not going to read the whole thing.
Say the point of it?
Yeah, so he had a whole lot of stuff. He took 3 weeks off. His whole dream was that he was going to become full-time into Web3, but when he lost that money, that $150,000, that dream went away. He took 3 weeks off, and then he says, this is where it's important. This is what I'm trying to tell. It's funny what being in the trenches does to you. Because I don't like to say other people's stuff as my own, so I think it's important to comment where it comes from and to also read it so that I'm not making things incorrect, saying he said it. It's funny what being in the trenches does to you. Being at rock bottom, it changes you. It changes the way you think. It changes the way you operate. I don't mean to offend anyone, but I don't think people who are handed everything, who have never faced a true challenge, can ever truly experience the hardening that comes from hitting rock bottom. There's a mental toughness you can't create through meditation and saunas that can only be got from being punched squarely in the face. that punch in January changed me. When I came back from that long break, I was a different man, a completely transformed emotionally. The small things that bothered me before no longer bothered me. I came back to my singular goal in mind, which is building a business and working on myself. I doubled down on my effort. I doubled down on eliminating distractions. 3 months after the hack, I managed to quit my job. My newsletter and socials were growing, and so good stuff came. Now, both Kate and I have got very similar stories in that we were both homeless. Kate is probably more known because he documented it. And I'm not going to go into too much details, but basically after school, I decided to travel. I sold, the few things that I had to get a ticket. I went to the UK, and I ended up literally being homeless there. I couldn't find a job no matter how hard I tried. Couldn't get any money, and I would sleep during the day because at night time to sleep in the park, I was too scared. And at night time, I would stay awake and stay. There was a 24-hour shop that I would sit on the floor there because there was lights and people coming in and out. I felt a bit safer. And then I finally did get a job there, and I worked as a waiter. And I remember serving these people, and they were very nice people, serving these people at this five-star restaurant in Bournemouth, which is like by the sea outside of London, but in the UK. And I thought to myself, how do these people afford to stay here? I mean, it was a really fancy and expensive silver service hotel. Like there's 30 steps to opening a wine and tasting and a bucket and all that crap that I had to learn, right? And I really just thought, how do you ever achieve that? I think being literally homeless and then coming back here to South Africa and saying, I'm not gonna be that guy who's homeless. I'm not gonna be that waiter. I want to be that person that can go to that hotel once in a while and be served by someone. Now, I'm not saying that it's me alone. I think a lot of it has to do with hard work, but a lot of it also has to do with fate and good luck and blessing. And you put yourself in the right place at the right time. But a lot of people work incredibly hard with that same intention, and it doesn't happen for them. So I don't want to sound like it's all my doing. I strongly believe in God and a higher power and all the rest of that. However, I came back hungrier than any of my friends, I'll tell you that, who had not been homeless for 2 weeks, scared that they were going to be killed while they were trying to sleep and all the rest of that. Like, to realize when you have literally nothing, to realize what having nothing feels like gives you a hunger and a drive that cannot be replicated in any way whatsoever by anything except for having nothing, like literally nothing. And I think there's a strong power in that. And I commented on this thread and I said, well done to you and long may it continue. But I do think that, and that's the other thing, is that things that are horrible experiences, often when you look back, you can see that those were the things that shaped you to be the person that you are. So even my dad, like, he was incredibly wealthy up until I was like in high school, and then he lost everything. And at the time I thought it was the end of my world to have it. I thought I would never. I mean, I remember him coming to me when I was 17 saying, look, you got to get a job. I can't continue paying for these things. And he was crying at the time because he didn't want me to have to work for my school books or whatever it may be at the time, right? And I thought, poor me, I really did. But I went out and I got those jobs and I did those things. And looking back, what I thought was a really bad situation for me, selfishly, was actually the biggest blessing, because it gave me a drive and a hunger to say, look, boy, and he didn't say this, but if you don't do it, there's no backup plan anymore, because dad can't help you anymore. So you've got to do it yourself. There was nothing left. And that really is a motivating factor for me. And it always has been that, look, there's no backup. What am I going to do if there isn't a certain amount of money to be able to buy food that week?
Yeah. There's a certain level of honor and respect in just trying and being just attempting to not fall into that worst position. I mean, that's why there's like a certain level of like a fire burning inside of me no matter what. It's not always that strong of a fire, but it never ever goes out because my intention is set on not letting it go out. Like the whole thing of this thing is like not to fall into that. So the only way to not fall in is to let go. Like, it's like you're on a rope. Like, sometimes you're climbing really hard and you're going hard as fuck. Sometimes you're sitting there. Sometimes you slide down, but you never let go of the rope. Some people do, but there's always a fire in me. And that's how I kind of visualize it. It's like, there's a part of the rope that, like, no matter what, how hard it gets, I'm still got like one hand on the rope. and there's no situation where I let go. Like I'm always got one hand on the rope and I'm always going. So if you never, like, eventually you get somewhere. It only stops when you give up. So what's up, Devin?
For sure.
Hey, bro.
And I'll also say this. I mean, just I don't want to share Crypto Dream's comment, but I do want to respond to it. And I'll just say, Crypto Dream, that in my experience, and this is honestly and true, the times where I felt the most hopeless in my life over the times, whether that be like before I met Bianca, and I really felt like I needed a partner, like a life partner, and I felt like now was the time for me, and it didn't happen when I thought it was the time, and it took a little bit longer. I thought it was never ever going to happen. That's when the magic happens, when you get to a point, generally, no matter what it is, where you feel like this is never going to be okay. If you're able to push past that point and continue going regardless of that, usually that's when something's just about to break. That's the real test. If you fall then, it's like you've done 90 miles of the race and there's 10 miles left, and everything is so sore and it's the hardest, and it's because you've done 90 miles already. But the problem in this example is you don't know where the finish line is. Yeah. But it's if you knew it was right there, you just got to keep on going. It's right there. You carry on, no problem. But you don't know that. But usually when it feels the hardest and the worst, that's when the finish line is almost there. And if you can just push yourself a little bit more, that's usually where things turn around, from my experience in many different things. So that would be my best advice to anyone that's feeling a bit like it's hopeless, it's not really where it should be, is just keep pushing and keep doing your best every day,
Yeah, I mean, that version of you that wins is the only way he got there, or she, is literally if they had indeed not stopped. That's the only difference between you and the dream version of you. Is you're like, damn, like that version of me is just so far away. You're like, no, that is not at all far away. He just like is a bit further away in time, and he did the thing that you're trying not to do. You don't want to do this because it makes you feel uncomfortable or it's hard. Until like the second you do that one thing, that respect that you'll gain is so monumentally shifting of how you view yourself. You carry yourself differently. And when your bar of what you accept for yourself is set at 3 out of 10 for so long, and then you do something really hard and that shifts to 6, now your baseline is 6. You're operating at a 9 instead of operating at a 6 for your like good stuff. Now you're operating at a 9 because your frequency at the base level is 6 instead of 3. That's how you win, because now you're operating a lot more days at 9 when a few months ago you were operating a lot of days at 6 for your good stuff. And it builds and builds and builds and gets better and better and better. That's why every time I look back, even times when I had more money, I would not ever go back to that time. Like I remember one time I was like, damn, I wish I had more money. There was a period like a few months ago where I had like this much money, like that would be great. But then I thought, I was like, would I ever go back to that? And I look back at my content, I'm like, oh, I remember when I was there. I remember when I posted that. I remember what I was thinking. I remember what I was going through. I remember who I hadn't met yet a few months ago. And I'm like, no, I would always choose today's version of me than 6 months ago or 6 years ago or 6 days ago. I'll always choose this one, which means that will always be the case in the future too. You will always choose that version of you than the one in the past, meaning that you got to keep going, bro.
And the other thing is, when you do keep going and you are able to overcome those challenges, you can always draw on that. So you can, when you struggle the next time with something completely different, you say to yourself, but remember that time when we overcame, or I or we or whatever overcame that. If we could have overcome that, and we did, we can overcome this. And it strengthens you for the future. Whereas when you give up, when you're 5 miles away from the finish line, you always live with that, and you don't get that extra power of knowing I overcame it. Yeah. So I've often said to Bianca, and again, I'm not going to go deep into it, but when we had our twins, we had a lot of very serious health complications, and very serious, like life-threatening health complications with our babies. And that year was absolute hell for us, for Bianca and I, as new parents with 2 new sick children, who are, thank God, doing incredibly well, and thriving. However, I've often said to Bianca during other hard times that we've had, not equivalent to that, doll, if we could have overcome what we overcame with Danny and Jake, we can overcome this, no problem. And she looks at me and she says, for sure, this is nothing. And that's and there were times at that point where we thought, how are we going to overcome this, and can we? And And literally, we went into survival mode where, listen, we're not going to talk about how this feels. We're not here to cry. We need to get through this. We need to get through today. How do we do that? You go and stay at the hospital with that one. I'm going to stay here with this one. You this, you that. That's it. And you just sort of, you do it. Giving up's not an option. And anyone who's even close to that, giving up is not an option. Persevere, and you will strengthen yourself, and that strength will be carried with you your whole life, that you'll use it in other hard times that come forward for you, hopefully.
Dude, let me say one last thing, because we've probably beat a dead horse at this point, but this is so crazy because trading has so many links to life. If you think about what it takes to go to the next level for a stock price to go up, it requires a higher high, right? Meaning you need to go, and whatever your hardest experience was a few years ago, a few decades ago, even a few months ago, whatever it is, you need to have a higher high, because if you don't, your baseline will never get higher up. Your average buy-in will never get higher up. But if your average, highest, hardest thing keeps going up, and you keep doing hard shit, and you keep securing those higher lows, those higher highs, you have no choice but to rise up.
As the same, also with trading.
For later.
Also with trading, when the floor price is the lowest, so when life feels the hardest, if you sell at that point, you selling the bottom. You got to hold. That's when you got to hold your ape. When the floor price goes to 26 Ethereum, never mind. That's when you got to buy. You got to double. You got to double it. You got to buy in at those points. When life is at its lowest point for you, that's when you're being tested. If you can hold during that point, you're going to see the rise. If you sell at that point, you've held all the way down. You're going to miss the rise. That's just around the corner.
That's how you know it's all about your intention, because if your intent and your goal is to have the price go up, then you have no choice. You know the answer. The answer is locked in. At the support level, I buy. Meaning when I hit rock bottom, I go up and I push through, because my goal is to get up. If my goal is down because I've given up, then of course you gave up. That's why you gave up. If your goal is not to, though, you need to understand the only way you get there is by buying that bottom and pushing through and continuing to show fucking resistance to that support, and you move up, bro. This is why you need to learn how to trade.
Where's a microphone that we can drop?
Fuck.
I've just got
Someone
this.
Drop a microphone in the chat. I saw a Crypto Dream drop one earlier. Drop it again, bro.
All right, guys. Well, if you've stayed with us, thanks for joining. If you just came, you've been here for a while, thanks for joining. We love doing this. We love you guys watching us do this, and we look forward to seeing you next week, same time, same place, for another awesome show. Kate, thank you. A beautiful year ahead. Happy birthday again, my brother. And we will see everyone next week. Be kind to each other, and be kind to yourself.
Be kind to yourself. Guys. Hit that retweet button. Hit that like if you enjoyed the show. See y'all.